Chisme.
Hello, hello.
Oh, you sound good. Okay. Hey, GB, Lana, Jess. Online hangover. Hello. Hey, look at Chisme Twin in the chat. Hey, Lynn. Okay.
She's my twin.
Chisme Twin. Sorry, guys. I had to watch the furry shave his girlfriend's hair. Ah, you can't make it up. How are you, Chisme?
Doing good today. How are you?
I'm good. Kaz is not here. She's in the real world, out and
Oh,
about,
she went to the other dimension.
right? Sometimes we have to do that.
Yep. Get away.
Hey, Shredder. The ferret, she's sleeping right now. She's getting so big. Oh my gosh. I think I'm gonna have like I don't know, she might be a mini pony by the time she's finished growing. I'll need a saddle.
A mini pony. Next thing you know,
Maybe
you'll
I'll
have
show
them.
her. Maybe I'll show her later, Shredder, when she wakes up. Yeah, she's in the couch growing long.
What rabbit hole did you get yourself into this time?
I'm going to show you guys what rabbit hole I got myself into. We're going to get right into this. There's so much. I was in Reddit last night forever.
Really?
I saw the sun come up last night. Oh, Fort
Mm.
Lickerdale. I grew up there. There you go, Lana. Hey, my elderly crime. My elderly crime. Hey, my
Oh,
elderly cats.
now you're changing everyone's name. I wonder what my
Listen,
name would
guys,
be.
you're Chisme, Chica. But you do call me
She's
bad
my-
names once in a while, which I don't really appreciate. All
What's
right,
that?
you know what? After watching this video that I'm going to share today, I don't know. It's if I was scared, I was scared and intrigued on this one. I had never seen him before. And let me tell you what, this guy right here, I'm just going to play it. Some of you might have seen it, some of you might, but I found him on Twitter today and I watched his video and I was shook.
Can't wait. It says, "Who's the guy at the food truck with a number 9 on his shirt that Maddie hugs?" My elderly cats asked.
Well, we've got
Is
two
it the big guy?
Jacks and a Jake. Hey, Jennifer. We got two Jacks and a Jake. So we got Madison was dating Jack Schreiger. Kaylee was dating Jake Schreiger. Kaylee was dating Jack Decor. The kid at the food truck is Jack Showwater, who did his first elk hunting. And there's a picture of him which I'm going to show it with an animal in pieces. But that's where that picture of the knife going around comes from.
Okay, so was he the hoodie guy or was he working at the food truck?
No, Jack Showwater is the hoodie guy. And
Okay.
if you look, let me show you guys before I start this video. Let me show you this picture. One sec. Let me find the one with Maddie and him actually giving like the thumbs up or pointing at each other.
Oh, and they were
This
saying something.
guy is Jack Showwater. Let me show
Yeah.
my screen.
Did she shoot the finger at him or something? This is what someone said earlier today.
Yeah, it's this picture. So where this is Maddie, she's pointing her finger, and this is Jack Showwater, and he's pointing back.
Oh, okay.
So they did point at each other at the food truck.
Wow, I
And
missed it.
also, guys, I want to play Matt's. I have it on my note card because he breaks it down with the audible and CC. My gosh, guys, closed caption. Okay, this guy. Huh, woo! How many of you know the crime circus? This was mind
I
blowing.
do now. I think that I'm gonna
Yeah.
subscribe real soon.
Okay, let me pause it for a second. Let me drop his link. I'm going to drop all of these links in the descriptions at the end. Do you guys know this? I've never heard of him until I saw him on Twitter today. I watched this video and I'm telling you, I think he brainwashed me. 15 minutes. I'm going to speed it up.
Yeah, and
If
then
you
remember
guys are,
what I said from the get go.
I know what you said. And if you guys are afraid of clowns, you probably need to look away because this guy is scary. Also, I heard that the neighbor went and gave his DNA just to like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so that tells me that they do have some type of DNA. So here we go, guys. This guy is creepy, but you're going to get brainwashed. Did you watch this, Chisme, when I sent it to you?
Yeah. I have to, or else I'll get in trouble. Just kidding.
Do this, people. Don't do this. Can you hear me?
And he's tall. He's bigger than he looks. He's real tall. This one, Jack Ducour.
Well, after you watch this video, you're going to see what I'm saying for those that don't. So let's get into this. Oh, yeah, this is very strange. I did not know where Jack lived until I watched this video.
I didn't either.
Thank you, guys.
Look at that.
Like you,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Circus. My name is Drip Drop, and I'm your host. Tonight we're doing an investigation into the Idaho Four.
Hey,
4 college students were passed away forever due to a large knife. 2 roommates on the bottom floor survived. They weren't attacked. Right here in this video, we're going to have a little discussion on Jack Ducour. That's one of the victims' Kaylee's ex-boyfriends. Some sources have stated he was a current boyfriend, but that's just not true. He was the ex-boyfriend. What this case comes down to is the oldest motive of all time. A broken heart, jealousy,
Is he creepy
in custody.
or is it me?
In this video, we're going to take a look at some different photographs, analyze a few different clips, and have a little discussion about this case.
Is he
Let's
what?
start with Jeremy. Some people have referred to him as the Stephen McDaniel of Moscow, Idaho.
The house, occasionally there were parties that were kind of loud. Most of the time it was pretty self-contained.
He scares
yeah, as
me.
I would take my dog in and out to go to the bathroom, I would just be walking by, I would look up and I would see people in the windows.
He's good,
almost
Jennifer.
every night.
Wait till you hear this.
Probably 4 or 5 nights a week.
He's done about a dozen interviews so far, and people were very suspicious of him at first because of his behavior in front of the camera. However, Jeremy may have just broken this case wide open. I'm going to put a couple of screenshots that I found on the internet right on this video right here. Jeremy's on Reddit, and he didn't even know that Kaylee owned a dog because he saw the dog at her ex-boyfriend's house, Jack, and the dog's name is Murphy. 2 months ago, Kaylee posted on social media looking for pet insurance for her dog.
This is his
And
channel,
that's the same
guys.
dog that Jeremy saw at Jack's house, being walked by Jack and in the front yard. Jack was no longer in possession of this animal. Kaylee was, and Kaylee was moving to Texas. That was the only thing that was different that weekend at that house. Kaylee had returned into town with her used, new to her, Range Rover. She was flashing it around, showing off to her old roommates. It became knowledge that she got a new job and she was moving to Texas forever. She was going to take a little trip around to Europe. All of that was being done without Jack. Jack wasn't invited over on Kaylee's return to Moscow, Idaho. He wasn't at the corner bar with Kaylee. He wasn't invited out to the girls' night out. And he wasn't on the Grub Truck video either. He just wasn't there. He had nothing to do with Kaylee because he was the ex-boyfriend. So let's talk about some evidence. I found some of these pictures on the internet. This is where Jeremy verifies Jack lived. There's been a lot of rumors and speculation on where Jack lived. Some people thought he lived on campus, possibly in a...
Okay. If this is really where Jack lived, look at the distance.
Yes, it's a few steps away.
A few steps away.
Someone, I think he said it, the clown, he said it's 30 seconds away.
Yep, the Black Eagle. I found him on Twitter today, and I'm telling you, I don't know. He creeps me out, but he pulls me in. But this video was just You guys, it was mind blowing. I mean, just mind blowing. And you start to wonder, is this the person of interest? And he brainwashed me.
Frat house. Some people even said he was in Boise, Idaho that night. Well, it turns out Jack lives right next door to where the 4 victims were murdered. From his bedroom, he has a direct view into Kaylee's bedroom. That's right. Thanks to Jeremy discussing where Jack lived and where he saw that dog, he put some puzzle pieces together, and now I'm putting some additional puzzle pieces together. First, we're going to take a very brief look at this video right here.
He was
I want
kicked
you to
out,
take note of the ceiling light, the window, and the floors. And we're going to see Kaylee and Jack's dog, Murphy,
no, that was
at Jack's house, which is more of a shared housing / apartment setup.
I don't know. I'm confused now. We've got 2 Jakes and 2 Jacks and a Jake. Which one was kicked out of the? Was it her ex-boyfriend or was it? I think it was actually Jack's Showwater, the boy from the food truck, who was kicked out of the.
Is that the fraternity house? Does he live in the fraternity house? Is that it? Jack.
No, he lives in that off-campus apartment.
Okay, but I know a security.
Yes, Gerard, the hoodie guy, Jack Showwater.
Is close by.
He was the one. Jack. Okay, so Jack Showwater, the one from the food truck, he was the one that was kicked out of the fraternity. And remember too, that girl that used to work with him at the flatbread Italian restaurant, she said that he had a serious bad temper. So do you think this guy uses like a face filter, or do you think he did his makeup like this with the lighting?
I think it's the lighting, and then he put some face makeup on his eyes.
Well, he's got spiders. He's got your garden spiders hanging underneath his eyes.
Yeah. I think he did it.
Anyways.
He's good, though. This is crazy. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to try not to talk. But I don't want him to get mad either. I don't want to get bit.
Well, you're going to listen to a clown instead of me?
Look at this.
Interestingly enough, the same exact property management company runs both houses, Jack's house and Kaylee's former house, where the 4 victims passed away. Anyways, now we're going to take a look at some realty photos from some realtor websites so we can line up that light, the window, the floors, the popcorn ceiling. It's all a match.
Shredder, really? Interesting. This video right here is great, though. It's creepy.
This can't be a coincidence. That's just where Jack lived. Otherwise, there'd be no reason for that exact dog to be in that home. I've read some various rumors online about Jack's alibi. Somebody went on Reddit claiming to be his roommate, saying he's a witness that Jack couldn't have done it because Jack went upstairs to his room and he never saw.
Yes, Gerard, we pulled the records. It's owned by an LLC company. Yep.
Jack leave. And this person was downstairs and he would have known if Jack left because apparently he was awake. Now I'm going to direct you to the front of the house and show you how easy it would be to leave the house unnoticed from the 2nd floor. You can walk right around to the side. And because the hill is so steep, after you slide out the window, walk across the roof, the backyard is so steep and slanted, it's just a foot or 2 walk away from the roof. That's how close the roof is to the hill. So it's easy access from the hill or the roof. You can get on or off, undetected by anybody living on the bottom floor. Of course, this Redditor is unverified, and it's possible Jack even lived on the 1st floor of that apartment. That part we don't know. The investigation is ongoing. I'm giving you breaking news courtesy of the creepy neighbor in long hours of research. I've been investigating this case nonstop daily since it broke. I want justice for the victims' families. Justice is important, and all the families are really distraught over everything that's happened. It's a horrible thing for this to happen to your loved one.
Online helper.
Anyways, a broken heart, jealousy, and custody. Kaylee and Maddie's last phone calls, just prior to their passing, were to Jack Decor. That's right, they called him 10 times, and he didn't answer. And Kaylee's final text message, also sent right around the same time between 2:30 and 3 a.m. that night, was to Jack. It said something along the lines of, "I can't believe you're going to just ignore me even though we own a dog together."
The person that he is talking about is Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, Jack Decor. Hey, sweet Caroline. The Jack Decor.
Now, that might not be an exact quote, but it's something along those lines. She was really trying to get in communication with Jack that night, but Jack claims to have been sleeping, apparently. That's the unofficial alibi. There's no reports Jack was over Kaylee's house that day. Kaylee had only returned to that home to say her goodbyes to her roommates, show off her car, and have one last weekend in Moscow, Idaho. There's been no reports that she spent any time with Jack that day. There's been no reports that she even let Jack know she was in town. From Jack's bedroom window, he'd be able to see his former girlfriend Kaylee return home to 1122 King Road at about...
You know what? I am sorry, but that is absolutely creepy as hell when you look at it through these spider eyes. Hey, Maria. Hey, seashells. I mean, is that not creepy, Chisme?
Yeah, that's creepy because he can just walk out from the window on the roof and jump over and
Forget
then
about
walk
that.
up
He
into
could be
the
staring at her through like binoculars and
binoculars,
watching her.
Yeah.
Because I always thought it was
Especially
weird.
he has a heavy duty binoculars. You can see real clearly, and I wasn't able to tell, but I think you can see her window. I mean, yeah, you can her window. You can see the sliding doors. You
Oh,
know,
wait
into her
till
room. I'm not sure.
you can see
Into her
everything.
room.
And I've never seen, when you look in the videos, like, and you go upstairs, like, there's not a lot of curtains on these windows. Yeah,
No,
it gets better, guys. This gets better. This guy is good. He completely brainwashed me.
2 a.m. in the morning, he'd be able to
I'm
see
gonna
the
grab a
dog
drink,
that was
Chisme.
most
Be
likely
right
moving to
back.
Texas with Kaylee that he'd never get to see ever again. Kaylee was about to leave Jack's life forever. A broken heart, jealousy, and custody. Within 24 hours of the murders, Jack took custody of Murphy. You can see in these pictures right here, as reported in the news, this is Jack Decor, and this is the dog Murphy, Kaylee's former dog. Formerly Kaylee and Jack's dog is now only Jack's dog. And now Kaylee's not moving to Texas. Kaylee's not getting the new job. Kaylee won't be driving the new Range Rover. And Kaylee won't be taking that trip around Europe. And Kaylee won't be falling in love with any new men. The motive is old as time, folks. This case isn't that complicated. It wasn't a serial killer. It wasn't the local cult from the church. It wasn't some deranged psychopath that had been stalking them. I'm just following the evidence, folks. This has all been publicly broadcast to the world to analyze. I typically only do interrogations on this page. However, I've done so much research on this case that I feel it's my obligation, and maybe some of these tips and this information can be passed along to the proper people for justice for the victims. Now that we've discussed some of that information, let's talk about Kaylee's family and Jack at the celebration of life. First, I'm going to play the video.
Oh, here we
And then we're
go.
going to discuss the video.
yeah,
Let's take a look at this video without any audio and analyze the body movements. You don't need to be any type of certified expert to analyze this body language. I think it's quite telling. Now we're going to take another look at this footage at half speed. As you can see, Kaylee's mother goes over to embrace the ex-boyfriend Jack. And for starters, what kind of ex-boyfriend even shows up to the ceremony of life? He wasn't a current boyfriend, he was the ex. I certainly wouldn't want an ex showing up to my ceremony of life. And if one of my loved ones passed away, I certainly wouldn't want their ex showing up to the ceremony of life. That's creepy and disturbing.
and
Anyways,
he had a paper.
what we see
like he
here
wanted
is
to
Kaylee's
see.
mother walk over to embrace Jack, the ex-boyfriend, as Kaylee's father is finishing up his speech at the ceremony of life.
You know what? This, wow. I don't know how I found this guy on Twitter today. I was probably so deep from Reddit and Twitter and back and forth. This was mind-blowing.
Yeah,
Hey,
I guess I
Justice
didn't
J.
word it correctly like he
What were you
did.
saying?
I said I guess I didn't word it correctly like he did. When I was talking to you, I'm like, I think it was Jack.
You
No,
thought it was
no.
him from day one.
Well, we don't know yet.
No, we don't. But it's this guy is starting to make it make sense. Like,
Yeah.
look at
And
the way
see
he's
how Jack's
girlfriend.
looking at, yeah, he's looking
That's
at
a,
him like I want to see if he's looking at me so he can see I care, you know.
he does have a
And then he
full-grown
puts
beard.
that hand on her shoulder. Yeah, and
Okay,
his
let's
hair is
continue.
darker now, Joe.
Yeah, it's not as red. So is this the one where the mother says about clearing too soon on the suspects? And I don't
Yes.
know. I
And her
wouldn't
sister.
think that if the dad, her type of person, his type of personality, that he would have an issue saying something. But maybe he's just keeping it cool because the cops are like, hey, listen. I don't know, but this is crazy.
As soon as Jack
Yeah,
leans in to embrace
he's
Kaylee's mother, He's staring down the father the entire time. He doesn't break eye contact, even before the father's looking at him. And then Kaylee's father's body language is quite telling. He spins around, looks at Jack's hand on his wife, looks at his wife in the face, and then he looks up at Jack right into the eyeballs and turns away immediately, and you can briefly see a moment of disgust on Kaylee's father's face right here. He quickly walks up to embrace his other surviving children as Jack hanged with Kaylee's mother. Look at the distance here between Kaylee's father and mother. He left her in the dust because he was so disgusted with what he just saw. Father's intuition knows best when it comes to...
These are bed bugs. Really hard pests to get rid of. Now, since most people try to use contact killers to get rid of them, and they don't know where they're...
So spotting a creep and being very alarmed with what he just saw with his wife and daughter's ex-boyfriend. Kaylee's mother and sister have come out publicly and said, Jack's not involved, and Jack couldn't have done it. The Moscow Police Department have even eliminated him as a person of interest. Well, that might be why this case goes cold and unsolved. They might need to start studying crime circus videos to understand motive. A broken heart, jealousy, and custody. Jack was the ex-boyfriend. His heart was broken. He had been with Kaylee since they were high school sweethearts. For about 6 years. That was no more. Kaylee's mother said that they were going to get back together. Well, that's just not how relationships work. Either you're together or you're not together. And they weren't together. Jealousy. Kaylee was back in town, but Kaylee wasn't spending her time with Jack. She was spending it with her roommates. So they were all targeted. That's the jealousy. Custody. The 1-year-old dog Murphy. Jack was about to never see that dog again.
It makes so much sense.
The dog was about to leave his life forever. Well, now Jack owns that dog by himself. So you've got a broken heart, jealousy, and custody. Do I even need to continue this video? Not so sure I do. I know some other people out there have some good suspects in mind. I've been compiling evidence, doing some research, looking a lot into this case, watching all the videos, reading on Reddit, going down different rabbit holes. But the case is simpler than you think. From Jack's bedroom, he could see Kaylee's bedroom. As you can see right here on Google Maps, this would undeniably be extremely easy to sneak from that house over to that house, with nobody ever seeing you at about 4 o'clock in the morning. And that's why nobody's been picked up on any cameras in town. There's been no vehicles that moved. Nobody saw anything because none of that's necessary. When you're just walking from one house to the next, and it's about a 30-second walk. Right here, we're going to take a look at some old pictures of Jack and Kaylee when they were actually dating. This is young love. You can see he's clean-shaven.
Bernadette?
He's with a girl a little bit out of his league, if you know what I mean. Now look how Jack's appearance has changed. Now he's got a full beard. His hair is darkened. He's wearing a hoodie. He's got Murphy with him. These are all red flags, folks. And this is what you get here at Crime Circus Investigations. Not everybody's willing to go this deep into the case, but I spend long days and sleepless nights doing this research for you and for the victim's family, because you deserve good content and the victims deserve closure, and the perpetrator deserves a long prison sentence, or even worse. Anyways, I think that about covers it for this video. I'd like to hear from you down in the comments. Please feel free to share this video with your friends, family, loved ones, Redditors, 4chan, wherever you hang out on the internet. Hope you share this video and it goes viral so we can get some justice. I want to hear from you down in the comments. I want to know your theories. Am I completely wrong? Am I going to get sued and booted off YouTube for this video? Well, it's a risk I'm taking to get justice for the families. Of course, Jack Decor is presumed innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. But what do you think? Leave me a comment down.
I like him.
Yeah. Lynn, I think they all
I'm going to drop his link again, guys.
Are wealthy.
I dropped it, Jennifer. It's right there. Yeah, he's great. I guess he did interrogations, and that was the first time he did a crime video, but I was like, oh, he is good.
He's good. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, let's go watch Brian Enton's special report so they can get mad at me. Thank you, Doodle Mom. Thanks, sweetheart, for all you're doing.
That look he was giving the dad.
That's greatly appreciated. Right? The way I never even noticed that. Because you're looking at so many different things. It's kind of like when you watch, you know, like a movie for the first time and then you watch it the second time and you don't see things that you saw the first time, the second. But I never noticed that look. But he definitely sprouted.
Yeah,
he went from that little.
See his reaction, the dad's reaction, or kind of like the girlfriend who steals the boyfriend and they're dancing or whatever, and then she looks at the ex-girlfriend like, I won or something like that.
You would think, though, if that father had any idea or thought for 1 second that he would probably just, I could see him just kicking that kid's butt. Like her father has. Yeah, he does not hold back.
He was giving us
Yeah,
tips, hints. I
but
mean, when he did an interview.
but it was weird how he starts walking up and he's hugging the mom, but he's looking over at the father as to see like that's weird. It was a weird vibe altogether. I don't know if it was the spiders, the makeup, the music, the smoke, but I think he brainwashed me. I think we've all been brainwashed.
You let the clown brainwash you, and you wouldn't even listen to me about
I
Jack.
was listening to you,
You kept
but I
telling
just
me, no,
think,
no, no. I'm like, okay, we will
well,
see.
the
But,
reason why
we
I
don't
think
know yet.
that too
And
is
I love
because
saying, I told you so.
well, we don't know that yet. He's still
I
innocent
know.
until proven
Yeah.
guilty, but the way the family protects him, how they were going to get back together. But then when he lays it out that they didn't see each other, she didn't get a hold of him, and he lives where he lived. And maybe that's why she decided to stay in Maddie's room that night. And then, guys, come on. Remember what
Yes.
Brian
It's a big
Enton said
house.
about the dog, Murray. Is that his name, Murray?
I thought it was Murphy.
Murphy. Well, here we go. He says, more from the Moscow PD. Kaylee's dog, Murphy. During the search of the home, a dog was found in a room where the crimes had not been committed. Officers did not find any evidence on the dog, and there was no indication the animal had entered the crime scene. I always thought that was weird. Like the person put the dog away so that he wouldn't be in the way. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because he had ties to the dog. It makes a lot of sense. Marietta says maybe that look is because he did not talk about Kaylee.
He had a paper in his hand when he walked up. Jack did. And the boyfriend of whose boyfriend was? Oh, I don't know whose boyfriend did speak. Oh, it was Maddie's.
Maddie's
He
boyfriend,
spoke.
ex.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake Schreiger. Okay. Let's check out the new special report. I'm starting to think I think News Nation is changing gears.
It takes 1 moment, 1 minute, 1 night for lives to be turned upside down.
We lost
Hey,
4
Lex
beautiful
Luthor.
souls.
The hardest part, we cannot change the outcome.
For a quiet college campus to become a crime scene.
This could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
What do you say to the students who are scared?
I tell them I'm
True,
scared too.
Lex. But I think he was put into
And for a killer
Kaylee's
to
room
seemingly
and the door was
vanish
closed.
in the middle of the night.
There is a threat out there still.
It's all hands on deck for investigators, racing to retrace steps, comb through evidence, and stop this case from going cold.
They could break open any time.
Hey,
Because it only
CC
takes one
Ryder.
clue, one slip up, one tip
Somebody somewhere has information about this case.
to end the nightmare.
We owe this to these
Maybe.
young kids.
The killer had moved the dog.
Idaho Murder Mystery, a News Nation special report, starts right now.
But if the dog had no blood on him or anything, then there's
Good
no
evening,
way
I'm Brian
he was
Enton
near
live in
them.
Moscow, Idaho for this News Nation special report. 3 weeks ago, the unthinkable happened in this house behind me. 4 university students brutally murdered here. Their killer not only is still on the run, but still all of this remains a mystery 3 weeks later. And we have breaking news tonight. New details that we have just confirmed. News Nation is learning that Kaylee Goncalves' injuries were significantly more brutal than her best friend Maddie's injuries, which may end up being a very, very important piece of evidence when it comes to determining who the target was in this attack. I have learned Kaylee and Maddie were in an upstairs room in the house, so the killer had to go specifically upstairs to get to them. And again, that new information just confirmed that Kaylee's injuries were, quote, significantly more brutal. That is new information that we are going to analyze coming up over the next hour. All of this really is a nightmare for this town, a nightmare that they just cannot wake up from.
Lex.
Over the next hour, we are going to be diving into all of the details of this case, learning more about the victims and their families, trying to make sense of this unimaginable loss here in Idaho. We're going to go take you around the crime scene, show you what it looks like, as well as an exclusive look at the Idaho State Crime Lab. And we're going to remain focused throughout all of this on the victims and their family. To try and understand how we got to this point, first, we go back to the beginning. Moscow, Idaho, a beautiful, quiet college town near the border with Washington State.
Do you remember in that text message from the beginning, it was like a pink message, and in it, they, instead of saying that the killer, or I'll find it after this video, but they said they. That always stuck in my mind too. They didn't refer to the killer as one person. They referred to it as they.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which was kind of like,
well, I
who's
wonder
they?
if they were calling him. I wonder if Siri is the one that was calling Jack. They were saying, no, Jack, or stop, Jack. It sounds like call Jack. Call Jack.
It could have been.
Stop.
But remember,
Somebody
Maddie's
mentioned that
phone, both phones called Jack.
Yep.
Maddie's phone and Kaylee's phone.
Unless they were arguing with him and he just came on over, he was mad.
Well, he could, I mean, he had the perfect view if that's really where he lives.
Blanketed in snow this time of year, and home to the University of Idaho, with 11,000 students who have almost never had a reason not to feel safe.
The worst crimes we see in town involve things like bike theft or cars getting keyed or something like that. We're a nice little artsy town.
I agree.
A great quality of life to a lot of people.
But what happened in the early morning hours of November 13th has shaken this community like never before.
I'm scared too. This is a worrying time, but we also have the ability to understand that this is just another example that crime happens and it can happen anywhere.
Fear, a college community still in shock following the brutal stabbings of 4 of their students. So many asking, how did this happen? We start on the evening of Saturday, November 12th. Kaylee, Goncalves, and Madison Mogan, where many college students spend their Saturday nights. At this local bar, the Corner Club on North Main Street in downtown Moscow. According to local law enforcement, the two were at the bar between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th.
And Kaylee's
at around
room.
1:40 a.m., Kaylee and Madison moved over to a local food truck. You can see them here on surveillance video from the grub truck down the street on South Main Street. News Nation has confirmed the two women used a private party for a ride home from downtown to their home on King Road. The home is about a mile and a half,
she was wearing
or about a
jeans and a
6-minute drive from the
sweatshirt.
food truck. They got
She
home around
wasn't dressed.
1:56 a.m., according to digital evidence collected by investigators. Investigators also say Kaylee and Madison made several calls to an ex-boyfriend of one of the girls 7 times, raising some eyebrows. That person has now been cleared, according to law enforcement.
That's
Kaylee Goncalves' sister spoke with News Nation's Chris Cuomo.
There's no boy problem. There's no threat. There's no high-risk.
See, that is what I talk about when the mom says they cleared too many people. But then they say, oh, I don't think that that Jack would have done anything.
Yeah, I
They
think
protect them.
maybe the cops told him to say that so they wouldn't scare him off.
Maybe. But Kaylee's father seems like he would have. He doesn't seem to hold anything back to me.
I mean, if the authorities told him to say that, then he probably wants to, but he can't, and he's holding it back. He's holding all that emotion back, but with him kind of hinting and
That's why he's
the
so
way
aggravated.
looking at him.
And that could explain all of his aggravation because maybe he knows.
And there he is right there. Jack the Ripper. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Christy, you don't need to be here, hon. Yeah, you can go. You can go somewhere.
Lifestyle that could have indicated this. It has taken all of us completely by shock, and we have absolutely no ideas.
Another roommate,
I
Xana
thought
Komodo,
that
and her
too,
boyfriend, Ethan
Paladin.
Chapin, were also out the night of November 12th.
In the
Investigators
beginning.
confirmed Ethan and Xana were seen at the Sigma Chi fraternity house on the University of Idaho campus. Here's where things get a little shaky. Law enforcement confirms with News Nation, Ethan and Xana were seen at the fraternity house around 9 p.m. They reportedly made it back home.
Chisme, should I tell them the theory of the guy with no feet? And then when I saw the knife after.
Yeah, because
Gonna
you
become
told
nut.
him that you've told him several times that you've seen a
No,
man.
I haven't. I only told you and Kaz.
Oh shit! I
Around
thought I heard you
1:45
saying it for
Uh-uh.
tonight.
Investigators are still trying to piece together
Nope,
what
I only
happened
told you
between
and
9
Kaz.
p.m. and 1:45 a.m.
Damn, I
Figure out
spoiled it.
who they were
I don't
with,
wanna
what
be
was
in a
going
rubber
on, maybe any
room.
routes or paths that they took to end up going home, those types of things. Potentially, that is critical to the investigation.
As for the two surviving roommates, they were also out on the night of November 12th in the Moscow community. They returned home by 1 a.m. The two surviving.
Does anyone know if Ducour is a hunter or he hunts like Jack Showwater? Or what his deal is? Because I mean, I've looked into him, but I didn't have too much time today after finding that circus crime guy. He
what
just
was the question?
seems, I mean, I guess anger and rage could make somebody do something crazy, but he doesn't seem like he could go into a house of 4 friends and just brutally stab them. Like, that takes a lot. Like, that's a special kind of special to use a
Yeah.
knife. And 4 people. Imagine the energy, like we were talking about, and Lex Luthor says what it takes to go through 4 people with a knife. I couldn't
Wow.
imagine. That takes a lot. I mean, does Jack seem like the type that, listen, I've watched so many serial killer movies lately, guys, that believe me, I know that somebody very small could have a fit of rage and take down like the whole house.
Yeah.
But is that what it is? That he was just so jealous of her coming back in town with the Land Rover and moving and hanging out with her friends, and the earlier post of her and all of the roommates with Ethan saying this is what life was about.
Yes,
Okay,
just
but Jess,
same
we're
says,
talking about 2 different Jacks. We got Jack Decor and Jack Showwater. Yes, Jack Showwater killed an elk. He's got a knife that resembles the knife they're talking about, the fixed blade in the picture. And
yeah,
to me,
and go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was going back to what Justice Jane had mentioned, that if they're on drugs, they can kill. They can have all that strength, especially PCP.
True.
And I just
never
want to
looked at
mention
him
something before I forget. Before I forget this, when I was looking at that flatbread restaurant or something, I think the same owner as the corner bar, whatever you call it, is whatever the name is. I know it's a corner.
The corner club or something.
bar?
Yeah.
Corner club. Okay, they're the same owners as that flatbread place.
Really?
I
Yeah, we're
believe
going to get
so.
into
I
that
could be
text
wrong.
message.
Yeah.
So the owner of Flatbread owns the corner club.
I believe so, because I was looking into it, and one of the restaurants there, and I think it's that one because it's a bread or bagel
I'm going to
place.
look into that right now as this video plays. That's interesting.
Okay.
It's a small town, though. 11,000 college kids in there. Hey, PG. PG, if you missed the beginning and you do not know who Cinema is, try to catch up and go back, because you really have to watch that video. Hey, Jess.
Cinema
I never
or
looked.
Crime Circus?
Circus Crime.
Yeah.
The man with the spider face. The only thing that's aggravating me about News Nation, it just seems like everything that comes out is like hearsay of something breaking. But if you listen to the dad carefully, and I'm going to play a video after this where this other guy will brainwash you into how weird the father is. But what always stood
Oh
out to
yeah.
me was the analogy that the father made when he said it was not like they were leaving a strip club and somebody followed them. Now, to me, he said that would be targeted. What the hell? Why would, like, where that just doesn't come out of a father's mouth explaining the night that his daughter was murdered. There's something now with a strip club. And I got this comment where if you listen to the father speak, he's speaking about being in his town. And Jack, guys, this is so, I'm starting to think that it was Jack, Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. The night she came back into town, like we were talking about, like maybe the guy saw her that night and it triggered her because she had been gone. It makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
What did Jennifer say? And jealousy. Oh yeah. And the dog situation now. It really does make sense. But the question is, if that was the case 3.5 weeks later, why wouldn't he have been arrested already? That's what doesn't make sense.
Surviving
Yeah, the
roommates did not
psychic
wake
did
up until
say that
later in the morning
about the
on November
bakery.
13th. That is when they called other friends to the house because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. At 11:58 a.m. on November 13th, a 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call was made from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones inside the residence. Multiple people talked with the 911 dispatcher before Moscow police arrived at the home. Officers discovered Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan dead inside the residence on the second and third floors of the home, suffering from stab wounds.
It was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. They were definitely stabbings, and I mean, it has to be somebody that's pretty angry in order to stab 4 people to death.
4 people.
So many questions unanswered. Authorities remaining tight-lipped, saying there are many details still simply don't know. Do you know inside the house whether the victims' doors were
I
locked
have
into
2,
their
Bernadette.
individual rooms? Do you know what messages left behind in the house, symbols from the killer? Because sometimes, you know, if it was like a fetish killing, they would leave something on the body or write something on the wall. Is there anything like that?
I'm not aware of anything like that.
While authorities remain
wouldn't say
tight-lipped,
if
we
he
are
was.
learning other details from the families of the victims. The vigil on campus Wednesday night, Kaylee's father gave insight into how close his daughter and Madison were discovered, saying the two were found together in the same bed. Earlier this week, there was confusion when law enforcement said there was a miscommunication
I get that,
between
Bernadette, but
police
why don't
and the
they
county
take, like,
prosecutor about whether this was a targeted attack or
something
not.
out of the garbage?
My understanding is the investigators believe that whoever's responsible was specifically looking at this particular residence. That's all that they can offer at this point.
The latest from police is they do think the murders were targeted, but police say they have not concluded if the target was the house or one of the occupants. Investigators have also confirmed a 6th person on the lease was not in the home.
Okay, stop with the 6th person. I mean, the 6th person was on the lease. Yes, she didn't move into the home yet. It's so crazy to keep talking about that. I get that Bernadette says because they can't prove it was him, they don't have his DNA. But don't you think by now, if they really thought it was him, they would have gotten it like off a water bottle? You know, like they got the Golden State Killer. They took his garbage.
Yeah, but his DNA is already going to be there. Probably even his, you know, spermatozoa. And, you know, and maybe he had gloves on, you know, the type of gloves that you can't, you know,
But not
the
if he
knives won't go through.
True.
And they're trying to find some good hard evidence, but there's, you know, they probably know it's him if it is, but they just need hard proof, you know.
Yeah, in my opinion, you can't kill 4 people and not leave any skin cells, hair. The scratching, some had defense wounds. Maybe he was completely hooded up. I don't know, but you can't be that young and this is your first target and you kill your girlfriend and her 3 friends. I think Ethan came out of the bedroom and just at the wrong time, if that's the case. But that takes a lot. That takes a lot. Unless he was just going for
those knives. They sharpen the knives, you know, for a while. Well, I've seen it on TV where they pick up a piece of paper and drop it, and it cuts the paper in the air. You know what I mean? That's
Paladin,
really
do you believe that? I believe one of them. Well, if let's just play devil's advocate. If it is the ex-boyfriend, Decor, maybe there is nothing like that because he was just completely pissed off and he didn't want anyone to have her. But if it was a stranger that was stalking one of these girls and went through all of that, I believe the one that was targeted might have had something different as far as, who knows, cut somewhere or who knows, but that made it look like that you knew she was the target is what I'm saying. But I'm just speculating. But if it was Jack that did it, it would make sense that there would be no essay. Absolutely.
At the time of the murders.
I don't know who did it, but.
And the roommates and friends who lived in this house behind me were so many things to so many people. Jokesters, a fashionista, some prolific photographers. They were really just typical college kids preparing to take on the world.
Interesting.
Their friendships
Could be
so
anybody.
deep.
Did anybody do their chores today? I'm just gonna do it.
The roommates could rock spot-on impressions of one another.
It's 8. Go, thanks, Colin. Oh, thanks, Colin.
Two of the young women grew up together. Madison Mogan, Maddie from Coeur d'Alene, and best friend Kaylee Goncalves from nearby Rathdrum, Idaho.
And that's
Roommate
where
Xana
Jack
Kernodle went
is
to high
from.
school close by in Post Falls, and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin from out of state, out in Vernon, Washington. All coming together at the University of Idaho, the tiny college town of Moscow.
Community is reacting with grief, concern. These were 4 very popular people on campus.
Emotions raw at a community vigil on campus Wednesday, including Ethan Chapin's mother.
My name is Stacy Chapin.
This is heartbreaking.
I'm Ethan's mom.
Her 20-year-old coming to the university this fall with his brother and sister.
Yeah, people are talking about a 5-hour time distance between, or 4 hours lost between Ethan and Xana getting home. Just me, do you think I don't think they were the target.
No, I think it was Kaylee.
I think if they wanted to take it, why would they have to go upstairs unless one of them woke up? But and the sad part is he was at that house with his twin sister and his twin brother before he went home. They may know. I'm sure there's so much information that we do not even have a clue about. I don't think Ethan and Xana were the target. And the dog being a puppy, and after the situation is over, and if the puppy was loose, you would have thought that he would have had some type of blood or something on his paws or something. But they claim that he didn't. So that to me tells me the dog was put into a room where he couldn't get out.
Yeah, he was protecting the doggy.
And who would protect the dog except for maybe the one who's part owner with it? You can't take the dog because it will look too suspicious.
Yeah, a serial killer would have killed the dog, in my opinion. I haven't heard the roommates
maybe
speak.
not kill, but maybe not lock up because it was a puppy and they claim that he was not a barker. We could speculate all day.
They were inseparable. Ethan's last day spent accompanying Sister Maisie to her sorority formal.
He could have been inside
Yet
waiting
freshman
in the
was
house.
usually with his girlfriend, Xana Kernodle, a junior studying marketing and reveling in the pair's growing relationship. A proud post of Mouse and Chef, a playful version of Ratatouille.
And I want people to take this personally because she was everyone's daughter.
Kaylee Goncalves' sister talking to News Nation's Chris Cuomo about her younger sister. Kaylee was finishing her senior year strong, with her best friend, Maddie Mogan, always
That's
at
what
her
I
side.
thought,
So
Josie.
then they went to high school together. Then they started looking at colleges. They came here together.
From tweens to Lake City High, teachers say the two girls never parted. Roommates at the University of Idaho, Maddie did join a different sorority. The live music lover showed off her marketing skills, running the social media account at the Mad Greek restaurant where she worked.
And in the end, they died together. In the same room, in the same bed.
I think all the people working on trying to figure this out. And
He says it right there. They died together in the same room and in the same bed. Now, what if the reason that Kaylee went into Maddie's room that night was so that there's so many ifs. If Jack was living that close and he was peeping in or watching, whatever, maybe she didn't have curtains up or anything because she was leaving. She didn't feel comfortable. So she went to stay in Maddie's room. I do not think she would have left Murphy locked up in the room by himself. I think Murphy would have been sleeping in the bed with Maddie and Kaylee.
Yeah.
It could have been Paladin, three-legged man.
Yeah, at this point.
Yes, Lex.
Remember the
yes, Lex. Exactly. That, I mean, it. You know, you think I was convinced that it was somebody who maybe didn't know them, but I did not know this about. And at first, I was convinced about the two Jacks. Is it two Jacks and a Jake? Yeah, two Jacks and a Jake. What's up with the two Jacks and a Jake?
It really means a lot.
It's a lot.
Artsy and funky Moscow, Idaho, the perfect backdrop.
I agree. Okay, CC, that makes sense.
What would you guys do in my situation?
The home on King Road, which once hosted Forever Friends, now bears visible scars of the unthinkable. 4 young lives taken, who, as shown on Xana's high school graduation cap, had their sights set on giving the world so much more.
Make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
Just so heartbreaking what these families are going through. I had the chance to sit down with the Goncalves family in Kaylee's home. Their loss, it is so heavy, and they have been vocal about their relentless search for justice and frustrations with the investigation. Here's part 1 of our conversation.
You know, she was hurt so bad that she was not able to recover.
Imagine.
That is just terrible.
It's okay.
It's terrible. I cannot fathom in my head what kind of person did this.
It's capable.
And why. I can't sleep at night. I lay in bed pondering just millions of different scenarios. And just, I want to know, but then there's stuff obviously you don't want to know, but
I think this is
I want to know
father talks about the stripper.
So I understand why, how somebody can take somebody, four of them. It wasn't just my girl, just so savagely.
Is anyone acting differently since the murders? I mean, is there anyone that you have a weird feeling about that the girls knew or that comes to mind?
Yeah, I would say not in the immediate circle by any means, but a few of the names that have been circulating around, I think it's hard not to kind of, dig into this.
But guys, now listen, this is another reason why maybe Jack flew under the radar with me. Plus, I was confused about which Jack was which, and Jack and Jill, and climbing up the hill and 2 Jacks and a Jake. I was just like, but listen how she covers right here for decor.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that is just because we have so little information.
I gotta use the bathroom,
and how much of it really is, a sister or a father's intuition.
Can you elaborate at all? I don't know. You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that you knew or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast. That maybe shouldn't have been. And yeah.
Share the strong alibi.
Just really fast.
If you can dismiss.
An hour later, and we're like, what? And I don't know. I don't know anything about those individuals. I just know they were people that, definitely should have been looked at. And yeah.
I don't know what would prevent you from sharing somebody's alibi.
Yeah, I think that's what we're struggling with. So it's like, we know what we know. We've, fought for Jack, Kaylee's boyfriend, and, we still stand that way. So I just kind of want to clear that up while we're talking through this ambiguity that, that's not what we're honing in on here.
We don't want to make more victims out of
Why would you say that?
We don't want to do that.
You've mentioned before that you didn't want to have a funeral right now because the killer's still out there. Is that something that you're still thinking about? Are you nervous at all? I mean, because in Moscow, we talk to students. People are really nervous there.
It should be.
Yeah.
This targeted to me, it seems behavior-based. That's why I don't like it. And it kind of pits the parents against each other. So I don't like that. I just told some of the other parents today that, if your daughter is no ill will for me, man. To me, if you go have a couple beers or go out and hang out with your friends and then come home and go to bed, if that's your target, then I think we all do that. I think we all come home and go to our beds.
Listen.
Yeah. So
it's kind of a bad word then. I mean, it doesn't really make sense in some ways.
Exactly.
The prosecutor told me that.
Yeah.
He said, I think it was kind of a weird word to choose.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes sense if there was some bad behavior that they did, let's say I don't know, they came from a strip club or something, and then somebody followed them home. That's a targeted thing. That's what comes. I've had innocent people that were interviewed that were their neighbors, and they said, I'd be a lot more scared if it wasn't targeted.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing anything to target me. And I'm like, well, targeting's just going to bed with your friends.
So maybe that was just a way to calm people down?
I feel like strategic way.
Is that normal? Or am I looking too far into that? I'm gonna look for stripper clubs in the city they're from and in Moscow. Maybe Jack the Core hangs out at a strip club.
Oh yeah. The two ladies on the screen are the one in the blue is the mother and the one in the middle is the sister of Kaylee.
Olivia.
Yeah,
Olivia. I like how she spells her name too with the Alivea.
They're Kaylee's family.
So the owners of the club are the same to the flatbread. And then you've got him comparing his 21-year-old's daughter death could be understood if it was targeted if she was leaving a strip club. Now, I've heard a lot of things, but that racked my brain, guys, and I put it in 2 videos. I just can't wrap my head around that comment. And the comment that I sent my daughter off to college and she came home in a box, like, I will never forget that. Ever. But that's weird to me. Like, what kind of analogy do you put with your daughter would be a target if she left a strip club? Is that not weird? Or am I looking too far into it?
Way to keep people
It's weird.
Hitting the door, transferring out, and turning that place into a ghost town.
You never think you're going to lose your little sister.
Yeah.
Ever. You never think you're going to have to bury your daughter.
Absolutely unbelievable. It's nothing compared to the pain that I feel.
Yeah.
Griffin Kaylee.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. It's several things. It's her age. It's how it happened.
So life.
Why it happened. Who did this to her?
Just graduate.
Who did this to her and her friends? The fact that she was with her best friend. I mean, since they were little girls.
That family tonight is so heartbroken. I've been in touch with them. It's literally unimaginable to think about what they are going through, but they are so determined to find this killer, and they say they are going to keep the pressure on the police until that happens.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, coming up, we're going to talk more about that breaking news that we learned about just tonight about the condition of the bodies.
Gosh.
We are live tonight from Moscow, Idaho.
Let me put a trigger warning up here.
Up next, Xana's mom breaks her silence for the first time.
We need more answers.
And internet sleuths are on the case.
This is my theory on multiple parts of the case, okay?
But when does it help the investigation and when does it go too far? I'm Brian Enton, live in Moscow, Idaho tonight. The murder mystery has reignited the murder here.
I did go through Kaylee's Instagram, like every single picture, every comment. Chisme will tell you. And we found a weirdo that kept dropping his link in her comments, like 230. Like, I was looking before the horrible murder took place of who was in her comments and who was there. And there is this weird guy from that town that has nothing to do with the colleges, that has a YouTube channel, but he's strange. He comes to me like he's definitely an incel. I'll show you guys that video, but I don't know. I think I'm honed in on Jack now.
The online sleuthing community who gained notoriety during the search for Gabby Petito in 2021. We are talking about the armchair detectives, people who sift through social media looking for any possible clue. And in the vacuum of information from Moscow police, their voices are louder than ever. Here's News and Nation's Ashley Banfield.
What we know is that 6 missed calls were made from Kaylee to Jack's phone, her ex-boyfriend.
From the start, amateur investigators shared their theories on the Moscow, Idaho quadruple murders. The case has gripped the nation. People are craving as much information as possible, trying to put the pieces together themselves.
Can you talk about these slayings in Moscow, Idaho?
I'm wondering if it was a friend, not one of the roommates.
This is just as pretty much everybody talking about this case, pure speculation.
Damn.
Partly fueled by a lack of information from the police.
Everybody has an opinion and they want to come out and say it. And so what that does is that detracts from the public's ability to trust the information that's out there.
Police have always had to work around rumors. They sift through leads, discarding the hoaxes and the hearsay to try to get to the credible tips. But the sheer volume of tips in this case could take a toll on police resources. But they could also crack the case. Nearly 500 digital media tips have come in to an FBI page dedicated to the case. The Moscow police are on rumor control, both on their website and during their news conferences. Often, the rumors get started on social media.
Okay, I have no qualifications to be speaking on the Idaho murders other than the fact that I just have been keeping up with them. And this is my theory on multiple parts of the case, okay?
Social media sites seizing the moment, setting algorithms to gain traction on the Idaho case. TikTok posts with the hashtag Idaho murders have more than 90 million views. Reddit forums with 27,000 members and private Facebook groups, each with tens of thousands of people, are all talking about the Idaho murders and are ripe with wild speculation, many delving into Kaylee, Xana, Madison, and Ethan's own social media accounts. But these crowdsourced investigations can also ruin lives as they track down so-called suspects on their own. First, it was the young man in the hoodie seen at the food truck in a video that surfaced days after the murders. Police were flooded with questions about who he was.
I think a lot of people were curious about that person. We were able to identify him.
Police have since cleared that man, but online sleuths soon turned their attention to a new suspect, a neighbor of the victims named Jeremy Reagan. He's a third-year law student at the University of Idaho and gave a TV interview about the comings and goings at the house where the kids were murdered. He admits that he'd given a nervous smile while talking about the crime. Some viewers took issue and made him a target. Soon he moved from target to suspect, and it was open season on the internet.
People online have just been ruthless. They gone through all of my social media history over the past decade, partly because of all the reports that people had sent in about me and the interview I did.
Reagan has spoken with the police and even volunteered his DNA. But when he didn't hear back from the officers, he simply went to the station himself and gave police a sample. But as amateur investigators continue to dig deep into his personal life, contacting his friends and his family, Jeremy is now so concerned that he carries a pistol for protection. Amateur detectives have had some success before. During the Gabby Petito case, social media hashtags exploded with billions of views. It was social media users that put many of the pieces together and gave police strong clues as to where to look. Back in Moscow, Idaho, with every day that the 4 murders go unsolved, the online investigative community is sure to grow. Each wanting to be the cyber sleuth that unlocks the mystery and solves the crime. But at what cost to the professional investigators and to the public?
And Ashley Banfield joins me now. Ashley, you have been on this story since the very beginning. You've been doing it every single night on your show. We know with the Gabby Petito case, the online sleuths really had an impact, helped solve what happened. Do you think that could happen in this case?
So the reality is, Brian, that every police officer will tell you when trying to solve a case, there is no detail that is too small. And they ask the public to bring forth any details because sometimes that minute detail can be the linchpin that opens up an entire other set of facts. Well, I don't know how many total officers have eyes on this, but it's upwards of maybe somewhere below 100. And with the online community, they may be able to triangulate some details between photos that may go missed by the detectives on the case. So in one circumstance, it is highly effective to have that many more eyes that could point out something that's critical to the case. But as we just heard, it can also be detrimental, Brian, to Jeremy Reagan and people like him who all of a sudden become targets for attacks. And those attacks can be relentless. I will also say this, Brian, it is not as though an online community hasn't had incredible success before. You mentioned Gabby Petito. There was also a serial killer in Canada that the online community found before the police found him, and the police ignored them. So there are some lessons to be learned from that, and there are some things the community can actually help with in terms of investigation.
And you mentioned Jeremy. I saw him on your show the other night. He actually lives right down the way here. I can see his apartment from where I'm standing. You can't help but feel bad for that guy. I heard him on your show say that he actually went to the police station to give up his own DNA just because he wanted to clear his name. All right, Ashley, don't go anywhere because we are going to talk to you about this breaking news that we talked about at the top of the show. The new revelations that we have confirmed about the conditions of the bodies,
obviously there are some people giving DNA. I would have to assume that with killing 4 people with a knife, he had to have left some type of DNA.
Yeah, they should. They have to have reason to get a warrant, but I would get a warrant. I would try, but there's no one if there isn't any evidence, you can't get a warrant.
Well, we gotta believe that if it is the ex-boyfriend, there's no way a kid can outsmart the FBI. I mean, he might be able to outsmart the Moscow Police Department, but let's pray that he can't outsmart the FBI.
Yeah, they're still taking evidence out.
Unless he's got absolutely nothing to do with it. But I think that Circus crime guy brainwashed me a little bit.
That might mean in terms of who was targeted. We're going to get to that coming up right after this break. We are live from Moscow, Idaho tonight.
Still ahead, a confounding crime scene. How did a killer seemingly go in and out of the house without a trace? And reality is not always what you see on TV.
We call it the CSI effect, that some people think, well, we should be able to do this.
Our exclusive look inside the Idaho State Crime Lab.
I'm Brian Enton, live in Moscow, Idaho tonight, where we continue to look into the murders that happened in the house behind me. 4 innocent college students now 3 weeks ago. Still no significant developments, still no named suspect, still no named persons of interest. I want to bring back in Ashley Banfield. And Ashley, I've been looking forward to this because I want to talk to you about this new information that we confirmed just before the special today. The new information is that Kaylee Goncalves' injuries were significantly more brutal. That is what I can say, significantly more brutal than her best friend Maddie's injuries. What do you make of that new piece of information, Ashley?
Well, it's astounding, for one, because this is the first time, Brian, that you've been able to get the kind of information that helps us to perhaps try to figure out why this happened. Not saying this is definitive, but it certainly is one additional clue as to whether perhaps Kaylee might have been the target. But you got more information that makes it almost more complicated, and that is where the girls were found. So walk us through what you discovered today, because many of us didn't know which room when Kaylee's father said they were found in the same room and in the same bed.
Yeah, let me show you, Ashley. I want to take you up the hill here and get you oriented. This is the front of the house. There's now private security out front. And oh my, because it's going and it's very, very slippery. But we're going to walk you up to the back of the house. No windows on the side of the house. You've got the front door obviously on the front, which we know has the coded lock. On the back of the house, though, is where the bedrooms are. Confirmed that key injuries.
Brian, I think we just lost your mic, and I'm not sure. There, no, you're back. You're back. Can you just repeat what you said in the last 10 seconds? Your mic went dead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was explaining that we confirmed that Kaylee's injuries were more significantly brutal than Maddie's. We've also confirmed that they were on the 3rd floor. I'm going to have Mo show you. 3rd floor here, where not easy access. You've got the balcony. There's a slider. You can't easily jump up there. What this has us wondering, Ashley, and I want you to kind of walk through this with me.
Creepy.
If Kaylee's injuries were the most severe up on the 3rd floor, and there's no way out of the 3rd floor, would that mean the killer specifically targeted the 3rd floor? Because it doesn't make any sense. Why would the killer go up to a floor where there would not be an easy exit for him?
I think after killing 4 people with the adrenaline, you could probably jump right off the balcony.
In that we still don't know where the killings began. Did they begin on the 2nd floor where Xana Kernodle's room was? And of course, Ethan had been staying over that night. And we now know that that room was the room on the far side of the house. So not that side of the house that you're on right now, on the other side of the house at the front of the house. That's Xana and Ethan's. And then did they progress to the 3rd floor? And while your mic was cutting out, I think the key piece of information that the audience couldn't hear was which room upstairs on the 3rd floor the girls were actually found. That before now, we only knew they were found together, but we didn't know in Maddie's room or in Kaylee's room. And so as we look at the 3rd floor map right there, bedroom number E, or bedroom E, is Maddie's bedroom, and it looks out the back of the house. And bedroom F is Kaylee's bedroom, and it looks out the front, but also the back where the slider is. So what did you discover about which room? Maddie's room on the left or Kaylee's room on the right?
It's that decorous apartment.
That's right. We've confirmed that they were in Maddie's room, which is also interesting. That's something that we did not know. So Kaylee's injuries were significantly more brutal, but they were sleeping together in Maddie's room. So that helps put the puzzle together. There's also something new that helped put the puzzle together, and it was on your show. It was an exclusive interview you had on your show Friday night with Xana's mother. We'd never heard from her before. She called into your show.
She's out of jail, by the way.
What she said, and then we can talk about it on the other side, Ashley.
Her father mentioned to me that he had just went and replaced the lock the weekend before.
You said her
London
father
girl.
mentioned to you that they had replaced the lock?
Yes, that he had, or he had fixed it or something. But yeah, he said that he had fixed it the week before, just to make sure it was still. Yeah. I do not think it was the house that was targeted. I believe wholeheartedly that it was those kids who were targeted. They weren't just acquaintances. These kids were like best friends. They practically were family.
Horrible.
These kids were tight knit. They were good friends. They were like family. They were around each other constantly. They did everything together. How could it not be a planned thing? How could it not have been targeted?
See, she just came out of her room.
Okay, so yeah, I wanted to ask you actually two significant things that stood out to me during that interview. Number one, what she said about the door locks. Number two, that she feels that, I think she put it, these kids were targeted. Talk to me about why those two things. I mean, they're new, and what do they mean?
Critical. And I just wanted to make sure that our viewers knew that was the voice of Xana's mom. She wasn't on video because she's so distraught. That was just her voice that we heard. But she said that the locks had been worked on by Steve, or rather by Jeff Kernodle, Xana's dad, just the weekend before. She couldn't confirm whether the lock that he had fixed was on Xana's room or whether it was a lock to the outside of the house. But I did say, did the rooms have individual locks? And she believed that Xana's room did have a lock. So very, very significant, because we've been trying to figure out, and there's a picture right there on the screen on the left-hand side is what one of the rooms in the house used to have in it, a coded lock.
Stop.
To
That
get
was
into an individual bedroom. And
2009.
each bedroom had a coded lock. That was 3 years ago. And we're not sure if each bedroom still has a coded lock. But it's critical because we've tried to figure out, how did the killer get in to a locked bedroom, and then how did the door perhaps get locked on the way out so that the roommates couldn't get in and thought someone was passed out on the other side? That's critical. But I also think it's very critical that she thinks that the target was the kids, not the home, and that it was someone they knew and trusted. And then one more thing, Brian, about the fact that the girls were found in Maddie's room and not Kaylee's room. I think it's important for our viewers to know that Kaylee was in the process of moving out. So it's possible that many of her things were scattered all over the bed, or the bed was in pieces or had no bedding, and that's why she might have been in her best friend's room. But if the killer went into Maddie's room, and yet Kaylee had more injuries, and it's dark, it's the middle of the night, this complicates things even more. Because if Kaylee was the target, then how would the killer know which one of the girls that was in Maddie's room if they were sleeping? Because they look a lot alike,
She's
and in the
so
dark, it would be very
dramatic,
tricky to tell. And
Ashley.
certainly it wasn't Kaylee's room. So very, very big find that you've discovered, but even more complicating.
Yeah, certainly some big developments tonight that really help us piece together the story. Ashley, I know you've been covering this every single night on your show. You and I have been on the phone late at night discussing all of this, and we'll continue to do the same thing next week. Ashley, thanks so much for coming on tonight.
You bet.
Okay.
You know what it's honestly like? It's honestly like I kept, what? I mean, well, damn, what if it is Decor? And he knew by seeing her in town that was the opportunity that, who knows? But I just don't get why he's not been arrested or something. Off a water bottle or just something.
Whoever did it, they're sickos. But his DNA is going to be.
You hope his DNA.
If they were in Maddie's room, then that would explain the blood droplets going down onto the kitchen cabinets. If that's what it was, some kind of bodily fluid or some kind of oil. They said it could be oil.
It's just starting to make a lot of sense, from her coming into town, her not making plans with him probably seeing her. Or, hey, maybe the food truck guy, maybe they're friends, and he goes, hey, your girlfriend's down here at the food truck.
Mm-hmm.
It could be anything, but the whole thing about the dog now, just that right there to me tells me, I mean, you can't have a conscience to walk into a house and kill 4 people. But I think that because they say that Ethan was found in the common part of the house, maybe he came out to the kitchen, he came out to the bathroom at the wrong time.
I didn't know he was found in the common area.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
So maybe it was supposed to only be Kaylee and Maddie. And if he was watching and he lived where he's supposed to live, then he knew that Kaylee would have probably been in Maddie's room that night. And then the phone calls to him. That's just, it's so weird. Okay, let's finish this.
Okay, we've still got a lot more to come. We are live in Moscow, Idaho tonight.
A News Nation exclusive, a look inside the crime lab system that handles all homicides in Idaho as we dig into the physical evidence the killer might have left behind, plus unimaginable loss.
A lot of people have been wondering if Kaylee had a stalker, if that was really true.
And new information from a family taking justice into their own hands.
We have been outside this crime scene for a week now, and there are a lot of questions about the evidence inside and what actually happens to it. And just last night, we were standing in the spot. We're pretty much here all the time for the most part. We saw detectives walking out with brown bags in their hands, but we still don't know exactly what was inside. It was an interesting development, though. There were some very, very large bags, and it seemed like they went in to gather some kind of evidence and then came out about an hour later. Idaho State Police Forensic Services, they're pouring over what has been taken from this scene. They've been in the home multiple times. News Nation got an exclusive look at the state crime lab. Alex Capriello joins me live now. Alex, you know, there's so much frustration among the community. So many people are wanting answers quickly because, you know, you see the TV shows. They think that they can get these results fast, but it seems like it really does take quite a bit of time.
Right, it does. That's exactly what we learned from the Idaho State Crime Lab. The fact of the matter is that this is an incredibly complex crime scene. And obviously, with the killer still on the loose, every bit of evidence is crucial to try to crack this case open.
The knife, the incredible amount of blood, and the complexity of a bustling home with plenty of visitors. The forensics team is on a case like few others.
It's so very complex. We're not talking about a person that just randomly walks up on the street and stabs somebody and walks away. We're talking about 4 individuals here.
Forensics professor and Body Bags podcast host Joseph Scott Morgan also taking note of how the murderer slipped into the home on Moscow's Kings Road. No broken windows, no broken doors.
And for the investigators, that's a big piece of information. It goes from, if you're looking at a potential suspect, what level of familiarity did they have with this environment? Did they feel comfortable in it? Did they know their way around? Would they say, you know what, maybe I don't want to go in the bottom? Keep in mind, the 2 people that live downstairs, they didn't die.
And also in this case, a complicated stew of DNA from the roommates and, as a hopping college house, many guests.
It'll spin, it'll inject the blank, it'll spin
the
back.
baby's
News
waking
Nation
up.
getting an exclusive look inside the Idaho State Crime Lab outside Boise.
This is the DNA casework lab.
Ready for the complexity of this case and others. The lab demonstrating for News Nation how elimination fingerprinting works for cases with a crowded home or in a car with passengers.
You can see that's a really nice print that you left on the glass.
But Idaho's Director of Forensic Services reminds the public, speedy and slick TV evidence processing is not the real deal.
We call it the CSI effect. Some people think we do this, but for that. Yeah.
Time will back Oscar tow the victim's car weeks after the murders.
Wherever it is they're storing them, I hope that it would be at the Idaho State Crime Lab, because at crime labs, they have actual evidence processing garages. At that scene, what did they have? They had a piece of yellow tape worn around that was providing security.
One solid tip, bolstered by the careful processing of a single clue left behind. The best hope to find justice for 4 young lives.
Just fascinating to see inside that crime lab, the work that they do behind the scenes. Explain to us why this in particular is such a complicated scene.
Right. Well, I kind of briefly mentioned it in the story, but when you think about it, I mean, just look at it. It's a rather large house, first and foremost. 3 stories to it. That's a whole lot of evidence for investigators to comb through. And then not to mention just the proximity to where it is on the college campus, frat row. Obviously, some of the fraternities and sororities are just about 200 yards away. We're told that this was a place where people partied, people socialized. And so that's a whole lot of people that are coming in and out of this home, which could really muck up and blur some of those lines and that evidence in there.
And I know police are remaining tight-lipped for the most part, but do we have a time frame when more of this evidence could come back, the testing?
Well, this is the benefit of actually being able to go to the Idaho State Crime Lab, right? We were able to ask them that, and they told us that they've already processed some of this evidence and they've gotten it back into the hands of the detectives. So right now, information is coming in and they are processing new information, but obviously this could take weeks as, like I mentioned, a lot of evidence to come through.
Thanks so much, Alex. Yeah, it's just fascinating to see inside that crime lab. It's not often that you get to see inside a crime lab like that. So we've still got more to come. Alex mentioned it, still evidence being taken out of the house. You saw the brown paper bags. We got that video yesterday. This is all so active. More coming up after this break, live from Moscow, Idaho.
Coming up next, a brand new revelation from the parents of Kaylee Goncalves.
Are you confident with the way they're investigating?
No, he's not.
Welcome back. There has been so much information floating around for the past several weeks about this case. Some of it is true, some of it has obviously been rumors, and a lot of the talk has been focused on whether Kaylee Goncalves may have actually had a stalker. I asked her family to clear that up.
Yeah,
Can
her
you talk a little
ex-boyfriend.
more about, a lot of people have been
Hey,
wondering
little
if
girl.
Kaylee had a stalker, if that was really true?
I said this, she's a pretty girl. Her friends are really pretty. So them attracting attention was pretty common wherever they went. So I think she attracted attention, whether that's a dedicated person following her around, maybe not. I do believe that the officers looked in it and I believe what they said, that there was no evidence there.
Are you confident with the way they're investigating?
I think it's hard to say this way or that. They're obviously holding it very tight to chest, which could either be a really, really great sign or a really, really bad sign. And I think depending on not even the day, the hour, especially my dad and I, we go back and forth between they got this and kind of falling apart a little bit and, really looking at specific events that have been strange or maybe should have been looked into more in our eyes.
And it really is just so heartbreaking what that family has been going through. I thank them so much for trusting me and allowing me to come into their home and talk with them.
Thank you, Brian.
It's so easy to get caught up in the investigation.
Yes, Justice. They're saying that Kaylee was the target. What if the person was inside the house? Like he knew, like they were when they were, leaving the food truck. They were gonna wait inside.
Yeah. I wonder if the food truck was live streamed. Someone could see who's at the food truck, or
It was on Twitch.
Oh, okay. I have to take my doggie outside. She's right here in my face.
Okay.
She's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay, be right back.
All right, guys, I want to play this interview from the Navy SEAL guy and the ex-FBI. Let me find him real quick. The comments that he makes about what the father says, I thought was really interesting. Do I think the father did it? No. Okay, let me find that. What was that place called? I'm telling you, if anyone ever looked at my history, I think I would be in a rubber room. All right, here it is. One sec, guys. All right. Wanted to make sure I got the right one. Nope, wrong one, guys. One sec. I'm talking about the FBI profiler retired and the ex-Navy SEAL. So many people say different things. This was interesting. All right, let me pause it. I don't think Chisme saw this. Okay. Honestly, starting to think that the killer started on the third floor and was going down. And if it's true that Ethan was found in the commonality part of the house, I think that he came out to the bathroom to get a drink. We'll look at the layout. Because when he comes out of his bedroom, it's like the video where Xana comes out acting like Dylan. That's her bedroom. Hey, Crown Royal. it just adds up. Like there's no crime, there's creepy calls of service, but then she just shows back up with the Land Rover, getting ready to move to Texas, starting the new job January 1st, and the dog. The dog, to me, it doesn't seem like a stranger would go into a house and take time out to put a dog away. That's just weird to me, especially when you're thinking about maybe only 2 people were planned, and Ethan woke up, and I'm sure then Xana woke up, and the other 2 didn't. Thank God. Horrific crime. But this guy right here is honing in on the father's weird comments, but I think the father's frustrated because he wants to say more than they're allowing him to. And I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, he actually had to sign something for the police because it was something about a piece of mail that I'm going to have to go grab that real quick. I actually saw that when I was at work. Did you hear that, Chisme? The
No, I
father
haven't
had to
heard
sign
anything.
a consent today because there was a piece of mail that they had to go through. Hey, media. I'm going to go find that real quick. Let's go ahead and continue. This is almost
Wow.
over.
A phone? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the father, I watched it today. The father had to sign a consent for a piece of mail that they wanted. I'm going to go find it. Hang on one sec.
To stand over 4 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And those types of things can be used for DNA that would be mixed in.
Yeah, and a lot of people say he did it.
We need to find out if Jack was hanging out at a strip club. I find that so, I can't wrap my head around using that as an analogy to your 21-year-old daughter and her 3 friends being
Yeah, I
murdered
think
in their home.
maybe he's sending messages, to Jack. Like he's kind of giving him hints that he knows something's up.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why he's saying things, but why? And like how the daughter said, oh yeah, they cleared people too fast, but oh, not him. Like, why would you have to say that?
Yeah. She caught herself. And I think they haven't told the mom anything because she's just so upset right now.
Exactly. So this
They
says
don't want to
Idaho
upset
murders
her
update
further.
police. Exactly. But she looks like, you know what? I can't imagine what she's going through losing her daughter, but I bet you that she's not honestly thinking with a full brain because you can't. Idaho murders update. Police investigating item related to victim's mail. Well, if that's the case, the person would probably have to know her to send mail to her. Unless it was a creeper. This is, I thought these 2 were the same person. Look at, they look like brothers.
Yes, and
what
Justice
more
Jane, they
information,
have a
but we don't
sleeve
want
as well for
to
your arm. There's a sleeve. There's sleeves for your arms, and they're for when you go, hunting or whatever, and you can't cut yourself through that. It's kind of like the
Yeah, I don't.
tattoos.
Yeah, that's why I
And
was
then
asking
gloves.
if he was a hunter, if he had any of that hunting gear decor.
we do want more information, but we don't want to we don't want to put our investigation in jeopardy by releasing what we have. There's always a balance between what you're willing to release versus what you're trying to gather. We told the public very clearly from the beginning that we're looking for a knife.
Crazy, they said
we
that.
told the public very clearly from the beginning that we believe it was a targeted attack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest, you're going to have to trust us on that at this point because we're not going to release why we think that.
Our investigators are looking at any possible connection
to an unsolved double stabbing in the Salem, Oregon area about 1.5 years ago. Specifically, 2 people stabbed in their home in the middle of the
The
night.
couple.
Long knife, no suspect at this point. One died, one survived.
I think we're looking at every avenue, and we have other agencies reaching out to us with other cases and stuff that we are doing follow up on, and we will continue to follow up on those.
Hey,
Are you aware of
Teresa.
that case?
Actually, I had a tip come in on that case, and I forwarded it to our tip line.
Okay, so let me get rid of this little picture-in-picture.
If your roof is over 7 years old, you may be able to get a new metal roof installed for.
Okay, so I'm trying to see what it says about okay. The parents of Kaylee at Goncalves spoke to Fox News on Sunday about an ongoing investigation and the updates they've received from police. Asked about the last time the parents talked to the police, told them it was last week. I think it was like Thursday. He also said that he and his wife were asked to sign a waiver form to allow police to investigate something that was male related. Goncalves did not offer any further details on what police were investigating in regard to the male. Aw, good morning, Teresa. Okay, I want to play this real quick. I want to drop her link. Now we're going to go back to Jack Showalter. Because everyone's a suspect to me, right?
Yep.
I'm not honing in on
gotta
anyone.
be.
I'm watching all of you. Right, Chiz? Maybe you got your good eye on them?
Yep. And the other one half on them.
Let me see if this is the right spot. One sec.
You've got your eye on them. I thought I had seen that one picture, the gory one, but I wasn't sure. And I think you showed
I'm
it to
gonna
me
show
first.
that. Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys his mom's page on Facebook where he got his first elk. So let's jump back into Showalter. This is I'm trying to hit the private chat button to present something. This is a girl that used to work with him at Flatbread. Let me drop her link. This is Truth and Transparency. So this girl worked with, now remember, we're back into the food truck kid. The one that was kicked out of the fraternity, the one that had a picture of the same type of knife with him when he killed his first elk. We'll look at those pictures in a second, but this right here is from a coworker that worked with him, and she'll explain it. Here we go. And I'm going to drop her link, or did I drop it already? All right.
Okay. This whole time I was reading, you guys. And again, things are blurred out for the safety of this person. So here we go. Again, students who were murdered recently.
No, internet.
Also, thank you, all of you, for your hard work and all you've put in. I'm originally from Boise, but currently living out of state. So I hope I am still allowed to give any possible helpful information pertaining to the case. I couldn't help but notice that a young man named Jack Showalter may have been a person of interest. I only bring this up because I used to work with him at Flatbread Flatbread is like a restaurant, okay, guys? Flatbread. In Bound Crossing in Boise, Idaho. Summer of 2021, to be exact. I'm not sure what information you all were able to gather from him. But I couldn't help shake the feeling that he may be involved. I hope it's not my own personal bias, but there are just some specific behaviors that gave me an eerie vibe.
There's her link, guys.
An eerie vibe. According to my boss, Jack was a seasonal employee and would be going back to college in the well. But after a few shifts, his demeanor changed completely. Another female
Let me speed
coworker
her
and
up. Hang
I
on,
were in the
guys.
middle of a
Jeez.
dinner rush. And apparently a mistake was made somewhere, and he started blaming me for things that I didn't do, saying things like, "You are the dumbest bitch I've ever met."
Oh, shit.
Standing.
Remember, guys, this is all speculation from a girl that claims that she worked with him, but she also claims that a report was filed in the company because I guess she slaps him.
Ease the tension. I decided to play along by saying, "Hey, thank you so much," hoping maybe he'd just like shift course or at least ease up a little. But instead, he became even more aggressive and started towering over me and shouting.
I hope so, Teresa.
Unfortunately, I wasn't prepared for that kind of interaction that evening. So I slapped him.
Oh, shit.
Not my proudest moment, but it seemed
Okay, Lana, we're back into Jack Showwater, the one that was seen at the food truck, the one that was hunting, and the one that got kicked out of the fraternity. This girl used to work with him, she claims, allegedly, at Flatbread. But now she just said that she'd made a claim against him, so I bet you people have been calling Flatbread Incorporation like, "Can I get a copy of that, please?"
Yeah.
But apparently, it was not the first time he had treated other women in the kitchen in a
Yeah, it's the hoodie guy.
It concerns me because it really is, well, definitely keep my eye. Something just doesn't feel right with me. I'm sorry, sit right with me. I hope this helps, and I thank you for taking the time to go through all of this. Thank you. Again, and for the sake of everybody, I gave you guys enough to see that what I'm reading is been sent and all the things, all the good things. We have him. Oh, he's seen on CCTV getting gas like 2 hours away. So how would he get there in that amount of time?
And that is true. He was seen getting gas.
The hoodie guy?
I thought he went to his father's. Hey, little girl, you want to say hi? The ferret's out. I don't think Shredder's here anyways. Your godmommy left. Come here, little girl. But I'm gonna have to go to Reddit and check that out. I thought he went to his father's place, Josh. I mean, Showwater. Let's just call him Josh.
Yeah,
My gosh. Woo. Got to get a nickname
So
for him.
after he left the truck, he went somewhere 2 hours away to get gas.
That's what she says. And it was a rumor that he was seen 2 hours away getting gas. So this is his mom, 2015. And there's Jack Showwater. And it says, Jack got his first elk with the unbelievable help of Garrett and Rachel Klein. Can't imagine that experience with anyone else. Ugh. Sorry, guys. But this picture, which I'm going to show you the big one, so if you can't handle an animal like, ugh, then you have to look away because I'm going to open it right now. There's where the knife comes from. Which is right here. A fixed blade. But this was 2015. Oh, guys, I'm and there it is. The picture that's circulating about the fixed blade. It is a fixed blade. It's got the handle too, like they talk about the nub so your hand doesn't slip down the blade. That's gross.
That is gross.
All right, let's go watch the food truck with the CCTV footage from that. Thanks,
Can you
Matt.
hear me okay? Because I had to plug something in.
Oh, I hear you.
Oh, okay.
No, don't plug anything in. Don't unplug anything. Don't
I
touch an
know.
effing thing.
Well, I had to plug it in because the battery was low on my computer.
Oh.
Then the
So,
sound went out.
so this has captions so we can actually see what was going on at the truck. All the words that were said. I'm going to drop Matt's link. I just want to focus on the what, the hooded boy in the back.
Yeah.
I think we
These
should call
two-
him. Should we call him Josh so we don't get confused? Josh. Let's see.
Josh.
I mean, these two
That'll get
Jakes
me
and
more
a Jack.
confused.
Why? Then we have Josh, Jake, and Jack. Jack D, Jake S, and Josh for Jack Showwater. All right, Jack S. Let's see if we can figure out if he looks creepy now with the words.
Okay, those two, the one with the long hair and the bigger guy, they've already they've spoken already on a newscast. They explained what they were doing and all of that.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Amusing though. It's
Be
fun to
right
watch
back.
other
I'm going to
people.
grab some more water.
Have a good night. Hello. Welcome back.
I think I would like the
Okay.
But if I have like a free grub tug on my app.
Oh, yep. So what you want to do is we'll actually
That's Madison.
do this. There you go.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
How many more do you need?
Sure is, Maddie.
That's the second one? Awesome.
Maybe I didn't have a free one.
And the rumor is, guys, is that these girls were pretty drunk.
Don't forget to move the spoon.
Yes, we have she's kind of.
Here, I'll grab it for you.
Excellent. And then click see rewards.
Enjoy.
And it looks like you not quite have enough points yet.
Oh, that's okay. That's good.
$10.
Thank you.
I do have a big burrito pork here for you.
Cool. Thank you.
478. Thank you very much. Where'd the pen go, guys? Where's my pen? How are you guys doing?
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I seem to have lost my pen, but that's fine. What can I get for you?
Can I get
just 2 John Drums?
mac and cheese, please?
Definitely. I get
thank you.
And pork tacos. Oh yeah. How many pork tacos would you like?
There's a hoodie guy right there behind him.
It's one, but they're like 6 to 7 ounce tacos. They're not like small little street tacos. I normally eat 2, 3 is a lot for me.
So one would be fine if I was getting pasta or
Yeah.
mac and cheese too.
Yeah, that's gonna be
I better
almost 2 pounds of
I
food.
better get 2.
Okay, you got it.
I got
2 pork tacos? Done. 1 5 cheese, 1 basil pesto, 2 pork tacos, $24.50 for you.
Thank you.
2 Don Drums.
$79.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do this. Hold on. If we decide, since we live.
Oh, people have fallen. People have fallen over reviews for you. Sorry, I'm talking to Twitch stream. Okay, so
All right, guys, she wants to say hi real quick. I'm going to scare you with my no makeup
I'm doing
on.
extremely well. What sounds good?
You got to say hi.
Yeah. For the big grill, would you like pork or chicken? Chicken. Got it. And then you said a Mountain Dew?
Yes, please.
Say hi, Fiona.
Big Rio chicken and a Mountain Dew.
Say
I do
hi.
$11.
She is getting big.
There's Mountain Dew.
All right, she
and
said hi.
Order 80.
There she is, Shredder. There's Shredder pops back. There's the baby. She's getting big.
2 chicken burritos with extra. $19 for you.
I know I have a $6 waiting for me. Would like to use it.
She's so cute. I love her.
Let's see reward.
Fuck, I just hit your jacket. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
$13. Hell yeah.
Yes, dragging it, and they haven't spoken
Aw,
us
she's
out.
a good girl.
Order 81. Thank you.
I hear they have really good mac and cheese at this food truck.
Extra slaw? Is that a charge? No, it's not a charge. It's
That
just a
guy's
modifier.
crazy.
They have Apple Pay.
How's
We
your night
have
going?
Apple Pay, right?
Of course we do.
Of course you have Apple
Look at
Pay.
this guy in tank top and shorts. No shit.
Yeah.
Okay, chicken taco.
Chicken
Oh my
taco.
God.
You got it.
Probably lived in Alaska.
Okay.
Ooh, fighting.
Please. No, I'm getting yours no matter what. Like, please, keep waiting. We'll do it 2 5.
This is kind of where she points at him, I think.
Like, I'm
Okay,
adding
watching.
2 or you're making it, it's now 2.
Oh,
Sorry.
2.
You're adding 2. Excellent. Gotcha. Okay. Anything else?
3?
What is Kaylee doing right there? Looking at her phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it. So I have a chicken taco and 3 5-cheese mac and cheese. Okay. $27.75.
Hey.
Huh.
How many apples in the Mac of the week? 0, TJ.
Let me
0.
drop Matt's link, guys.
Order 82.
He streams every update on every case.
Can I get?
We already got it by 2.
Wait, we got one. Oh my God. Can I get a
I mean, he's not even like really honed in on
one
them.
Mac 5, $9 for you.
Perfect, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very.
Let's go. Of course. Awesome. Dessert burrito for us ready.
Order 83.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and then it's all on you.
He is a rockin'.
Letting go.
Time to start the old car. It's been a while since this engine started. Let's see if it starts. V V V V V V V V V V V V. V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V
the world?
V V V V V
That's
V
not
V
me.
V V V V V V V V V V V V V V
That's on
V
the
V
food
V
truck.
V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V V.
See?
The battery
My
is
first
dead.
time was when we
Oh.
went to the grocery
Better luck
store
next
to buy
time.
donuts.
For what?
First time I used, well, NFC. I don't have an Apple device, so it wasn't.
My dogs. What now?
She
I
is.
took
I was
the-
desperate.
She is so. She's short,
For
Kaylee.
donuts, yes.
Yeah, she's
It
short.
never used like a phone NFC pay. I guess unless you count the tap on the card.
Wait, say that again?
Never used my phone until I had like a store.
Oh, really?
Always had my cards.
Okay. It's because you're too prepared, Derek.
It's because I try not to forget my wallet. It's a good reason.
That's
not
smart,
to
Derek.
forget
It's
your
probably
wallet.
good to not lose your wallet. Guys, fuck yeah, great ticket times. Honestly, like Luke,
I'm
Tebow,
watching.
really solid. Love it. Very
So,
pleased.
Joe,
All
how
right,
close are we
back
to
in.
you sitting down on Friday nights?
I mean, that was a solid rush. It's a good thing that it ended, but
Right, Marianne? They don't want to scare the new students
Friday
away.
and Saturday in a row, they got you down.
Like they don't
Yeah, that
know.
was That
I'm
was she
liking
just
it.
pointed. Oh, there you go. She pointed at her
Like it a
again.
lot, guys.
Yep.
Guess who's gonna fucking need extra slot a second? This bad boy.
Tebow's thinking to himself, if I start slowing down on May, maybe I'll get to sit down. He's going to try to sabotage me.
I actually was wondering if I was going too slow and you were going to switch it back, and I was really scared of that. That's what I was scared of.
Nope.
Yes, let that fear.
You guys know, like, the highest ticket time I saw was 13 minutes, which is, I'm very satisfied. You guys have worked on the truck, and Derek and I have been the ones on grill and mac, and we've had longer ticket times than that.
Well, see, he said
You're doing
mac
well.
and cheese.
Yeah, someone ordered 2 mac and cheese earlier. But their handles, look, the packages they give the food in, they're small. And you're gonna pay $27.
Hell yeah. All right, what did I miss? Reduce, reuse, lol. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh, I get some of that. And then, like, they want their numbers to be called.
Are you going to us that you're talking about? No. Tomahawks, what's the side for? Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing extremely well. What sounds good?
Just a death by garlic and extra into it.
Yeah, definitely. Death by garlic. We'll add chicken to it. Anything else for you?
And then can I do the 5 cheese?
And 5 cheese?
Yes. Can I add chicken to that?
Of course. We're doing death by garlic with chicken, 5 cheese with chicken. Anything else?
She's on her phone. I wonder who she. Oh, now she's taking a picture.
Do you guys have any NFC go Ben? Any
Yeah,
whatever
picture
sort of
of,
payment you have on your
the
phone,
hoodie
we
guy.
can take.
Jack
Order
is-
84. Thank you.
You think so?
We do not have the scan one though. So
I
like if
saw
you're
it
trying to pay
on
with
one of the
Cash
news
App,
casts.
you have to like scan a thing. We don't have any sort of QR crap. How are you doing?
Sorry, good.
Oh, no. Good. Excellent. Sorry. What can I get you?
Can I get 2 chicken tacos?
2 chicken tacos. You got it.
Yeah, she's definitely busy on her
If that's okay
phone.
for you.
Slide.
Yeah, slide, tap, insert, facing you with the chip, any other.
And there they go.
Thank you.
Can I do the
Home.
So at
Where
first I
evil
thought
lurks.
the hoodie guy was because he lifts his arm up like in frustration, but now they're saying that he was waving to them goodbye.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so this is the Moscow, Idaho, where they put the King Road homicide updates on every day. Also, where you can go and get the call services. Those weird people. No report, no report, no report. She sounds like she's digging a hole to China.
Yeah, tomorrow, me and my command team and other individuals will be going in to box up personal belongings of the people that live there. And we're going to be getting those items back to the families. It's time for us to get those things back that really mean something to those families and hopefully to help with some of their
I
healing.
couldn't imagine.
Why do you personally want to be involved in collecting these possessions?
We have a lot of investigators investigating, and I'm not tied into the investigation side of it where I'm physically interviewing people, and it's important to me. It's important for us as a department to go in and take care of the families and get the items for them so that they can have some of those back and some of those memories back that are fond memories. And I'm a dad. I understand the meaning behind some of those things.
It could be
is something
Agnes.
that, we gave one of our children or something, and we're just trying to bring some of that healing.
As people learn about this stage of the investigation, what do you want to say about where you're at with the investigation?
We're at that point in the investigation where we're still gathering information. We're still gathering tips. We're still gathering evidence. We're
Come here,
still
little girl.
doing everything we need to do. But there also comes a point in time when the family needs to have those belongings back, the ones that we can get them back. they've asked for some of those things back. So we're ready to take care of that for them.
Mm. Let me see if there's anything else. We'll jump into Twitter real fast. I have one eye on it's a complete stranger who stalked him in that corner. But then I kind of, at that point, I was thinking that because of the room that it was in, that maybe Maddie was the target. But then it comes out that Kaylee's the target, and the whole dog thing with Murphy being with no crime scene evidence on him, regardless of where he was. I'm not going to speculate any further, but and if Jack lives there from watching Circus crime, I don't know. Like, I've got one eye, I got my left eye on a complete stranger who was triggered when he saw Kaylee come back in the town. And then I've got my other eye on Kaylee's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, I've got my left eye on Jack, my right eye on the serial killer, and my third eye. No, my right eye on. Okay, it goes from Jack the boyfriend, and then Jack S, and then the serial killer.
All right, this was the one that was out on the update on the. Wait, that's the third.
Lana
It was
says,
just
"Guys are all over
speculation.
the place." What?
They were saying about the speculation
Yeah.
of people and social media.
But
Let's
yet
see if anything's on Twitter.
they're doing it like Chris Cuomo. He said that the social media were speculating and all of that. But what did he just do? Speculated.
They said that the police said that the kid on the food truck was cleared. But did they ever say that they cleared any of the ex-boyfriends? I've never heard that.
No. They said some people were cleared early on, but they didn't.
Yeah. And there's a
specifically
list of
say.
them. There's like 4 or 5 of them that were cleared.
But they said that you can't clear anyone until the investigation's over.
Okay, well, maybe not clear, but maybe not a top person of interest.
Oh, okay.
And
I
one
don't know. I
was
couldn't clear them.
one was Showwater. One was the neighbor. I would have to go find it, but let's see what's new on Twitter. And then we're going to wrap it up. 43 minutes ago. Oh, we got some more insight. I love insight from people, guys. Oh, I love this stuff. Where is it? Moscow murder. 1 hour ago. KTVB7. I'm going to have to find it. Anything that wasn't collected prior to that is gone. They're talking about the vehicles being towed. Oh, gosh. Did the food truck argument lead to murder of 4 Idaho students?
I didn't
What
hear
did
an
I
argument.
miss? That's what I'm saying. What did I miss as far as an argument? People, oh my gosh, stop.
Yeah, and I heard that she was, throwing the finger at him, but she wasn't.
No, I think they were definitely pointing at each other. Yeah, they're going on. She says sounds more plausible than what ex-FBI Jillian Seal is saying about Kaylee Goncalves' father. Desperate to make money, according to his GoFundMe, rich parents could pay this right-wing extremist Republican easy to lie. They do it for free. Interesting. Ooh.
What does that say?
That was the Gilligan Island.
Mm-mm.
Here's the press release from... I could never read that. I would have to save it. I have to see what that says. Hang on one second. Let me save this. Yeah, let me see what this says. Hang on, I gotta save all of them. Oh, it's a long one. Kaz, where are you?
You want me to try to read it?
Nah, I got
You're
it.
like,
Let
oh,
me
I
see
don't.
what this is
You have
about.
that accent.
No, you can. I'll send it to you in Discord. We like your accent.
I thought I could read it from the screen.
Maybe you can. Am I sharing it?
Yeah.
But am I sharing the picture or the... No, I'm sharing the wrong one. Hang on.
Oh, yeah, I can't see it.
Okay, here's the first one. So this is for immediate release, December 6, 2022.
You want me to read it?
If you want to, go ahead.
It says Moscow homicide
Let me just move
update.
it for 1 sec so I can see the comments. Okay.
Okay. Moscow, Idaho. The Moscow Police Department is providing the following information to update. I can't see that word. Oh, to update the public on the known facts surrounding the 4 murders that occurred on November 13th in Moscow, Idaho. Updated information. Starting Wednesday morning, December 7th, 2022, and potentially into Thursday, Moscow Police Chief James Fry, along with members of the department, will collect and remove some of the victims' personal belongings from the residence, which are no longer needed for the investigation, so that they can be returned to the families. The items will be loaded into a truck and transferred to a secure location until the families can collect the belongings. These arrangements were made in coordination with the families. Anyone near the residence Wednesday morning is asked to keep roads clear. Movement of the items will be done as privately as possible in an effort to maintain respect for the victims and their families. We ask members of the media and community to be respectful of this process. The house remains an active crime scene and progress continues to be made in the investigation. Moscow police and investigative partners continue to work with the victims' families on the investigation and ongoing developments. A video interview for media use and public viewing with Moscow Police Chief James Fry is, and I can't see the rest.
All right, hang on 1 sec. You were at... right there. Is that the end of it?
Where was I? It says anyone in the residence is asked to keep the roads. And then it says the house remains an active crime scene. Okay.
It's basically, I think you got to...
What they said.
Yeah.
Where it says detectives continue processing and working. Okay. Let me just start at this one. The house remains an active crime scene and progress continues to be made in the investigation. Moscow police and investigative partners continue to work with the victims' families on investigation and ongoing developments. A video interview for media use and public viewing with Moscow Police Chief James Fry is available on the Moscow Police Department YouTube page. Chief Fry explains why the investigative team wanted to handle the delicate and sensitive handling of the victims' close possessions. Detectives continue Detectives continue processing and working through more than 2,645 email tips, 2,770 phone tips, and
Damn.
1,084 digital media submissions. We believe someone has information that will add context.
And let's not forget, not to interrupt you, why doesn't it say it there? Wasn't there like 4,000 crime scene photos?
Yeah, a lot.
I mean, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I find that I wonder how come they left the 4,000 crime scene photos out. I think so, Crown.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I got one eye in a complete serial stalker situation. And now, after watching Circus Crime, I got my right eye on decor. All right, go ahead, babes.
Oh, okay. It says, we believe someone has information that will add context to the picture investigators are creating of what occurred that evening. Our focus is the investigation, not the activities. Your information, whether you believe it is significant or not, might be one of the puzzle pieces that help solve these murders. Tips. Detectives are looking for context to the events and people involved in these murders. To assist with the ongoing investigation, any odd or out of the ordinary events that took place that night, I guess it's going to say.
Oh, you can't see at the bottom?
It just says
Yeah,
out of the ordinary
that's
events
where it
took place.
ends. We're going to go to the
Oh.
page 2. All right, let me share my screen. Let's go to page 2.
It says, should be reported. Our focus is the investigation, not the activities. Your information, whether you believe it is significant or not, might be the piece of the puzzle that helps investigators solve these murders. Information can be submitted. The tip line number and the email
Yeah, you
number.
don't have to read all that.
At this time, no suspect has been identified, and only vetted information that does not hinder the investigation will be released to the public. There is speculation without factual backing, stoking community fears, and spreading false information. We encourage referencing official releases for accurate information and updated progress. And it says all press releases and information related, and you can get that link. And then it goes into the investigative timeline.
There you go. I like how you have a good voice to narrate.
Might have breath. Just kidding.
Hang on, we got to get her some oxygen. Woosha.
Okay. What's that?
I was giving you mouth to mouth.
Just kidding. Okay, the investigative timeline. On the evening of November 12th, Kaylee, Goncalves, and Madison Mogan were at a local bar called Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in downtown Moscow between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. On November 13th at approximately 1:40 a.m., Kaylee and Madison were seen on video at a local food vendor called The Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street and used a private party for a ride home from downtown to arrive at their 1122 King Road residence at around 1:56 a.m. Investigators have determined that Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle were seen at the Sigma Chi House on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive. At approximately 1:45 a.m., Ethan and Xana are believed to have returned to the residence at 1122 King Road. It was previously reported that Ethan resided at the home. However, it has been determined that he was only visiting. Detectives believe that on November 12th, the two surviving roommates had also been out in the Moscow community separately, but returned home by 1 a.m. on November 13th. The two did not wake up until later that morning. On November 13th, the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. At 11:58 a.m., a 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call was made from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones inside the residence. Multiple people talked with the 911 dispatcher before Moscow police arrived at the location. Officers entered the residence and found two victims on the second floor and
Hey, Avery. I'm moving it.
if I wish they would release the 911 calls, but I know it's too soon.
But you have to ask yourself, mostly when you hear about something tragic like this, they don't really release, like they could say it was like from a sharp edge blade, but they went into real detail about what type of knife this was. I found that interesting that they leaked that and they kept so much more secret.
Yeah. The coroner, which is not a doctor, told the public that. So it says multiple people talked with the 911 dispatcher before Moscow police arrived at the location. Officers entered the residence and found two victims on the second floor and two victims on the third floor. Autopsies were conducted on November 17th. Wow, that's quite a few days. The Latah County coroner confirmed
Well, it was
the
4
identity.
days later.
Yeah. They confirmed the identity of the four murdered individuals and their cause and manner of death as homicide by stabbing. The coroner stated the four victims were likely asleep, some had defensive wounds, and each was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of sexual assault. Detectives continue investigating what occurred from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th, when Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were believed to be at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive. Any interactions, context, direction, and method of travel, or anything abnormal could add context to what occurred.
Okay, we've got one more, and then we are going to. I don't know if we have to. Oh, yeah. Oh, yep. This one's important. Last one. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. This one's breaking down the investigation. And then, of course, I'm going to look at. I've got Dad's background in the background just to see what city so I can look for strip clubs. That's so weird to me how he talks about the comparison of being at a strip club, and then you could see it as being a target.
Yeah, he must know about strip clubs.
Why would you why bring that up?
Maybe Jack was cheating on Kaylee and he was going to the strip clubs.
Something's weird about this strip club. I'm gonna figure it out though. All right, there's the last
I wonder
page,
if
girl.
the
Take a
same
deep breath.
owners own the strip club. Okay.
We're gonna find out.
Okay.
This
It
is
says
Avery. This is 1 second. This
Hello.
is right off of the Moscow. This is where you okay, 1 second. Let me look at the exact name. I don't want to get it wrong. This is the daily activity from the government page from Moscow, Idaho. And here they update every day. They call it the King Street homicides. And this is yesterday's update. That's
Wow, I wish
actually
I like it.
from the police. Yeah. I'll drop that link in here, guys. It's actually an interesting link. And like I said, those calls for service. Huh. Let me get the link. Here's the link, guys, to the official government page where all this stuff is.
What did you mean about the calls for service?
Well, the calls for service that I've been sharing, that we've been digging in to see what kind of weirdos have been called out. And there's been some
Oh,
weird
oh,
ones, man.
yes. I thought you meant for that home. Okay.
No. All right, let's wrap this page up. I'm starting to slur.
Okay.
Okay.
Detectives are seeking all outside surveillance video taken from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Sunday, November 13th, from businesses and residences within the geographical area listed below. Detectives request all available videos, whether there appears to be motion and content or not. On West Taylor Avenue North boundary, West Palos River Drive South boundary, Highway 95 south to the 2700 block of Highway 95 South East boundary, Arbor, Arbor, Arboretum and Botanical Garden West boundary. Detectives are also seeking additional tips and surveillance video of any unusual behavior on the night of November 12th into the early hours of November 13th, while Kaylee and Madison were in downtown Moscow and while Ethan and Xana were at the Sigma Chi house. Anyone who observed unusual behavior near these areas or has video surveillance is asked to submit their tips. Investigators have looked extensively into information received about Kaylee having a stalker. They have pursued hundreds of pieces of information related to this topic, but have not verified or identified a stalker. Anyone with information about a potential stalker or unusual instances is asked to contact the tip line. I'm not sure what it says right there, but it says detectives do not believe the following are involved in this crime. Okay. At this time in the investigation, detectives do not believe the following are involved in this crime. 2 surviving roommates,
Good night,
male
lady.
in the
Okay. This part, guys. No. Listen, lean in. Let's hear what the police are telling us that they're ruling out. And the one that the mother can't understand why they're ruling out so soon.
Okay. Okay, they believe the following do not believe the following are involved in the crime. The 2 surviving roommates, the male in the grub truck surveillance video, private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home on November 13th, the
Wait a
male
second. Did you say Josh Showalter, the guy in the Grubhub video?
It says male in the grub truck surveillance video. Yeah.
Okay, is that Josh Showalter?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And then the private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home on November 13th. The male Kaylee and Madison called numerous times during the early morning hours of November 13th, which is Jack. Any individual at the residence when 911 was called, or the individual on the lease who moved out of the residence before the school year started and was not present at the time of the incident. Additional information related to the investigation.
1 sec. So she moved out. So her name was on the lease. So there was not somebody moving in. It was somebody moving out. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
before the school year started. Okay, additional information related to the investigation. Currently, no suspects are in custody and no weapon has been located. On the night of the incident, officers located a dog at the residence. The dog was unharmed, turned over to animal services, and later released to a responsible party. Local
Okay, 1
businesses.
sec. You see how they say that there's no people of interest or suspects in custody, but they're not saying that they don't have anybody on their radar.
Oh, okay. No, currently no suspects are in custody.
Uh-huh. That's
And no
interesting.
weapon has been located on. Okay, local businesses were contacted to determine if the fixed blade knife had been recently purchased. Detectives seized the contents of 3 dumpsters on King Road to locate possible evidence. Governor Brad Little directed up to $1 million in state emergency funds for the ongoing investigation. Throughout the investigation, detectives have collected, oh, there it is, I think, more than 2,770 calls to the tip line, over 2,645 emails, over 1,084 digital media submissions to the FBI link, 113 pieces of physical evidence collected and taken to the ISP crime lab. ISP? Investigative. I don't know what ISP stands for. Idaho. Anyway, it says it said 113 pieces of physical evidence collected and taken to the ISP crime lab, and approximately 4,000 crime scene photographs taken and multi 3-dimensional scans of the residence. On November 29th, as part of the ongoing homicide investigation and original search warrant, detectives located 5 vehicles from within the police perimeter. The detectives relocated 5 vehicles from within the police perimeter to a more secure long-term storage location to continue processing evidence. Idaho State Police Forensic Services crime lab scientists have worked on this case for weeks and have provided testing and analysis results to detectives. As they complete additional tests, I'm not sure what ISP stands for. ISP Crime Lab. Mar? Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you. I'm looking for I was looking, that's the last page.
Okay.
Isn't that weird they cut it off like that? Let me make sure. Hang on. Let me see. I know I got them all. Nope, there was 3. Let me double check. What is Kate? What is her father's first name? Is it Steve?
I'm not sure.
I found Kaylee's background report, but I can't even look at it. All right, let's see. All right. I mean, I have everything that you want in this little page. I think it was the 5 one.
I wish they had one here.
Oh, yeah, there are more pages. Nope, we got the 4. So the 5th one is. All right, you got it in you. This is the last one. Can you see
Okay.
that?
Let me
Oh,
clear my
nope,
throat and get
hang
it.
on. Let me share the right screen. Starting to get a little cross-eyed. All right, here we go. Sorry, guys. Can you read that? Make it a little bigger. Do you need
No,
it
that's good.
grande?
Sí, pero no esto.
No lo
I said
sé.
yes, but not this. Okay.
All right.
The rumor
Bien.
control. That's me, Chisme Patrol. Rumor control. There has
Good
been
night,
extensive media.
Cece. Hey, PB&J. Okay,
Hey,
I'm going to shut up. Go ahead.
no. There has been extensive media interest regarding an incident at Taylor Avenue and Band Field on November 13th, 2022 at 3:01 a.m. This incident was an alcohol offense which was addressed by the on-scene officer. This call is not related to the murder investigations. For further details regarding this incident, a Moscow Police Department public residence well, let me start over. For further details regarding this incident, a Moscow Police Department public records request can be submitted referencing incident number 22-MO9896. We have not changed our belief that the murders were a targeted attack. However, investigators have not concluded if the target was the residence or its occupants. There have been media questions about a September 12, 2022 incident regarding an argument between a group of people walking on the University of Idaho bike path and a cyclist. It was reported that during the confrontation, the cyclist displayed a folding knife. Both parties dispersed and there were no injuries. The cyclist turned himself into the police. The case was investigated and misdemeanor charges were referred to the Moscow City Attorney's Office. There is no connection between the individual involved in this incident and the current murder investigations. There have been media questions regarding a February 2022 death on Baker Street. I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah, it was back when the guy pulled the knife on these three kids, but he was on a bike. He turned himself in recently.
Oh, they're still referring to that.
No, he was cleared. Oh, this is different?
No,
Yeah,
it says,
the cyclist.
yeah. And then it just says there have been media questions regarding a February 2022 death incident regarding an argument. Wait,
An overdose?
there have been media questions regarding a February 2022 death on Baker Street. The Latah County Coroner's Office has confirmed the death was due to an overdose. Yeah. This case is not related to the ongoing murder investigation. There have been online reports of a red Mustang on South Deacon Street being processed as part of the murder investigation. This information is not accurate and the vehicle is not connected to this incident. The identity of the 911 caller has not been released. There have been numerous media inquiries about a 1999 double stabbing in Pullman, Washington, and the 2021 double stabbing with one death in Salem, Oregon. While these cases share similarities with the King Street homicides, there does not appear to be any evidence to support the cases are related. Detectives are aware of a Latah County Sheriff's Office incident of the report of a skinned dog, but do not believe there is any evidence to support it is related. Wait. Okay, let's see. While these cases share similarities with the King Street homicide, there does not appear to be any evidence to support the cases are related. Okay, detectives are aware of a Latah County Sheriff's Office incident of the report of a skinned dog, but do not believe there is any evidence to support it is related to this incident. Contact Latah County Sheriff's Office for further details. Detectives are also aware of a Moscow police incident of the report of a deceased animals left on a resident's property. This was determined to be wildlife activity and not related to the murders. Online reports of the victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. The Moscow Police Department is utilizing assistance from the Idaho State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Latah County Sheriff's Office. Assigned resources vary based on the current needs of the investigation. These numbers are approximated and do not reflect additional off-site personnel or other assistance provided. Moscow Police Department, 6 detectives and 5 support staff. That's
Yep.
it.
It's not big. And then they've got Idaho State Police are involved with 13 investigators, and the Federal Bureau's got 46 in Moscow and located throughout the United States. And then you got 2 behavioral analysis unit investigators in Moscow. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a bad temper past, Kaylee's dad, in the early
He looks like
90s.
a tough guy.
I'm going to share this and we got to wrap it up. I got to get my butt to sleep.
Steve's brother's in jail for murder. The dad.
That's what
dad's
I
brother.
heard. But these are his. They live in $1 million home. But anyways, we got this little theft, criminal mischief, theft. I mean, some of these could be the same one too. DUI, theft, a violent treatment. Yeah, I could see that. Hood River, violent treatment, convicted, 98. Theft. No bankruptcies, no liens, no foreclosures. And then he owns Cloud 7 VIP Incorporated.
What's that? I wonder.
I was looking into it. It almost sounds like it's like a hotel type deal. Let me see. The cloud-based property management system for you as a hoteler, created by experienced hospitality experts. They got a Facebook page.
What do they do again?
They
Is it
like
a realtor?
I guess they set you up at hotels. I don't know. You guys are going to have to look into it. I'm going to put the name in there. It's Cloud 7 VIPs Incorporated. I'm sure I'll look, but I don't have the energy to start digging tonight because I'll be up till like just tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not at all, CC. Yeah, that was the early 90s. We all know he's got some
Yeah.
tough guy in him. I don't think the father did
But
anything.
nothing recent.
But I think the father is hinting some serious hints out there, and the whole strip club does not. I think that has something to do with something. He's throwing out, someone like Chisme might have said, like, letting someone know that I know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it for me, though, Chisme. You got anything else?
No, ma'am. Thanks for having me.
You're going to call me ma'am? The hell?
What do you want me to call you, bitch?
Oh,
Just
you
kidding.
guys see how she abuses
Sí,
me?
señora.
Uh-huh. Puta. All right, guys. Thank you all for coming in.
Okay,
Guys,
bye,
hug your babies
everyone.
tighter, right? Hug your grandbabies for me,
Yes.
Chisme. Stay
Yeah.
vigilant, guys, and thank you all for coming in. And I think that's it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.